Here we have to do this. A bit of a hill.
His mother said, if you're coming to school, you got to bring your sister because they have to go and work in the fields. So this kid carries his 1-year-old sister everywhere. A lot of those kids don't eat in the morning. A lot of those kids, the only place they do eat is at that school.
I thought going up that mountain, Mary's meals can reach everywhere that there's a hungry child.
You see what happens after a simple meal? It just came to life.
Love reaches everywhere.
Parkview Sports Medicine's integrated sports medicine team is built to serve the needs of all athletes in all sports. Our team's only goal is to improve athletes in every facet. PSM offers performance training to help athletes get better on the field, dedicated athletic rehabilitation and physical therapy to help them get better off of it, certified athletic trainers in our PSM schools providing daily support to our athletes, and a specialized orthopedic walking clinic when injury strikes. Call 260-266-4007 to speak to our care navigators or visit ParkviewSportsMedicine.com to learn more about what we can do to improve athletes at all levels. Parkview Sports Medicine. Become more. Joint pain, sprains, strains, or a possible broken bone? Make the Parkview Ortho Express Walk-In Clinic your first stop when you have an orthopedic or sports injury. Call 260-266-4007 for more information.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our cameras. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season, or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
I was once a Southside kid who was led on a journey by high school football. A journey that taught me discipline, toughness, and the skills that made me a success. As a businessman with a CPA license who owns his own firm, I still use the building blocks of high school sports in my everyday life. Someday sports will end no matter what level you reach, but you will be left with the skills to compete in the next game, the game of life.
Joint pain, sprains, strains, or a possible broken bone? Make the Parkview Ortho Express Walk-In Clinic your first stop when you have an orthopedic or sports injury. Parkview Ortho Express, located at the Sport One Parkview Fieldhouse, gives you access to quick care and orthopedic physicians when you need it most. Get x-rays, treatment, and referrals to Parkview Care, all in the convenience of a walk-in clinic. Call 260-266-4007 for more information.
Thank you for watching Summit City Sports. To help broaden our coverage, we're asking you to become a monthly sponsor to our Patreon account. We produce weekly highlights and live video broadcasts. When the Homestead Girls Golf Team won its first state title in program history, we were there. When Fort Wayne brought back 3 state titles in cross country, we were there. We believe in sharing positive stories and setting the standard for how high school sports should be covered. Join us and donate today.
The Kelly Automotive Group is simple, transparent, reliable. Simple. Our customer specialists make buying a car easy and fun. Transparent. Our price listed is the best price. No hassle, no gimmicks. Reliable. Buy with confidence and peace of mind. We work hard to ensure the best value however you shop. Come see us in Decatur at the 2733 Auto Mall and shop 7 brands in one location. The Kelly Automotive Group. Simple, transparent, reliable.
This is an invitation to join a movement propelled by people who care and members who have a share in the place they bank.
Good morning, Sam.
So when you have the chance to get your first home loan, you know an expert will guide you every step of the way. Or when it's time to buy your new car, you'll be treated like more than just a credit score.
Good news, ProFed can get you that payment.
This is an invitation to a place where simply belonging can help enrich your whole community. ProFed Credit Union. You're invited.
Welcome in, everybody, to Chambers Field on the campus of Northside High School here in the middle of Fort Wayne, Indiana, for our Summit City Sports Game of the Week. It features the visiting Bishop Dwenger Saints entering with a 1-0 record. They are coached by Jason Garrett, who is in his third year with the team, a 26-3 overall record in 3 years. Phenomenal for Coach Garrett. And they will be taking on the Northside Legends, coming off a big victory a week ago. Northside handing it to Snyder, 47-17. They are coached by Mike Brevard in his fourth year with the Legends, a 7-24 overall record. And Joe, last year in week number 2, this Bishop Dwenger team hosted Northside, and they won it 36-0. But you know what happened? They went on the road in sectionals in the first round of sectionals, and they only won 35-22. So a lot of the points were made up there, and that's because of Deuce Taylor. Deuce Taylor did not play to start the season a year ago, but this year he's starting from game number 1, and he certainly is shining. My name's Jeff Mahoney, giving you the play-by-play. We got Joe Walburn over here doing the commentary. Pat Reith is on camera, and down on the field is Mike Fiacable right there in front of Deuce Taylor. Joe, tell me about this Northside Legends team. What a victory they had in week number 1.
What a victory it was. And you talk about Deuce Taylor, it starts with him. I thought it was the finest high school quarterback game I've ever seen play. Threw for over 300 yards, 5 touchdowns, and he had total command. And even at times, Snyder got some pressure on Deuce, but Deuce is so good in the pocket. He can slide step. He can step up in the pocket and make all the throws. And something that really stuck out to you and I, Jeff, not only was Deuce awesome, but Northside was dominant running the football. They ran for 131 yards, and they averaged over 6 yards a carry. So Hassan Lambert was such a great compliment to Deuce Taylor. And not only did Northside run around Snyder, they also pounded Snyder in the mouth. So very good job by Northside to get off to a fast start. And also that defense really stepped up too. And we knew their big stars would step up. LaShawn Miller, 8 tackles, 2 tackles for a loss.
So down on the field, we got Mike Fiacable, and he's going to get us some pregame interviews. And right now he's got Coach Garrett. Mike, can you hear us down on the field?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Here I'm down here on the field with Coach Jason Garrett, head coach of the Dwenger Saints. Coach, what are the keys to the game tonight? I know there's a little weather implications with the rain, but the field looks great. Great win last week versus Wayne. Just what are the keys tonight against this pretty good Northside team?
Yeah, it's discipline, it's execution, and when we get a chance to take our shots, we got to be extremely physical.
Yes, sir. Sounds good, Coach. Have a great game.
So that's head coach Jason Garrett with the Bishop Dwenger Saints. And, you know, I love what Coach Garrett does over there at Dwenger. He gets all the guys involved. He knows how to keep a lead while getting all of his players onto the field. Last week, his defense had a day, Joe. 8 tackles for a loss. They kept Wayne off the board until late in the second half. They also had 4 interceptions. Now, I'm telling you what, that's the name of the game today. Will Bishop Dwenger get the pressure to make Deuce Taylor uncomfortable in the pocket?
Yeah, that will be the key. They have to get that pressure. Last week, it was John Michael Fabini with the 7 tackles and the 2 sacks. So they're going to move Fabini around the perimeter and try to get that pressure on Deuce. And I was talking to Mike before the game. I think what Dwenger should really do is try to get that pressure up the middle on Deuce, because that's tough as a quarterback, and Mike knows to fight that pressure when it's in your face. So that's going to be key for Dwenger, but also key for Dwenger. And I thought your interview with Casey O'Boyle really nailed it, Jeff, because as we broke the game down, I saw and I was stunned. You know, Dwenger handled Wayne, but Dwenger barely averaged 2 yards a carry against the Wayne run defense. So I was surprised by that. Obviously, Brennan Lydon had a huge game throwing 4 touchdowns, but Wayne stopped Dwenger running the football. Now, Dwenger was missing some guys, and I'm understanding tonight they're getting a couple of offensive linemen back, and Dwenger's going to need those offensive linemen back, one of those being Austin Busher. But Dwenger needs to play this game in a phone booth against the Northside defense, and they've got to be able to run their ISO game and run off tackle. And I think that's going to be key, too, because if Dwenger can control the football, Jeff, that keeps Deuce off the field.
And Dwenger's got some outstanding running backs led by Devin Tipman, Louis Tipman, and KJ Tipman. KJ did not have a rush last week against the Generals. Devin rushed 5 times for 19 yards. You know, this guy's already been offered by the University of St. Francis, 2-time NAIA back-to-back national champions. He's also got some Division II offers out there, does Devin Tipman. KJ Tipman's an absolute beast. You'll see him a little bit at running back. Did not have any carries last week, but did have a reception for the Saints. He goes 6'1", 200. Devin at 6'1", 205. And then Louis Tipman. Louis had 3 carries last week for -2 yards, but that will not hold today against this Northside defense. He's the real deal. Last year was second on the team in rushing, only behind Patrick Finley. And once again, it just kind of speaks to Coach Garrett. And it looks like Mike Fiacable down there has Coach Mike Brevard, so whenever Mike's ready, he'll just turn around and look at us, and we'll get that interview from Coach Brevard. But watch out for this running game. Like you said, what's maybe most impressive about this Bishop Dwenger offense is the wide receiver, Rocco Sioka. He goes 6'4", 190 pounds. And Jack Tipman, the tight end, goes 6'5", 220 pounds. But we're going to send it down to the field to Mike Fiacable.
Yeah, here we are with Coach Brevard right down the field. Quick question, Coach. After a big win over the Snyder team last week, what are you looking to see out of your team tonight versus another top SEC opponent?
Just looking for the team in the momentum. I think we had a good week of practice, and we're just out here trying to see if we can execute.
Yes, sir. Sounds good. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
So once again, and Mike, I got a question for you real quick down there. What's the turf like? You played quarterback. Do you think this is going to be an okay turf for these offenses?
Yeah, so it's actually grass down here on the field. It's actually great shape. The rain is slowing up. I only feel a couple drizzles coming down, so hopefully it clears up and we get a clean ball game tonight.
Once again, that's Mike Fiacable, who's a quarterback at IU University and led Bishop Dwenger to a state championship game. He definitely knows how to get it done on the field. He was also a basketball player, Joe. Heck of a basketball player for the Saints also.
Yeah, he was a great quarterback, too, and I think that's key. And speaking of quarterbacks, Dwenger always seems to have a leader at quarterback. And when you look at Brandon Lydon, a 3-year starter, Jeff, and a guy who threw for over 2,000 yards last year. And so really coming on, a leader, 4 touchdowns last week. So I think Dwenger has a lot of confidence in their quarterback. And that also allows them to check out bad plays and get in better plays. So I think that leadership at quarterback for Dwenger is big tonight.
Yeah, Brendan Lytle last week, 11 of 16 passing, 173 yards, and 4 touchdowns. That was one of the best performances in the SAC. But the guy on the other side of the field threw for 378 and 5 touchdowns. So some big-time numbers for both of these quarterbacks. Well, folks, we're going to send it to Casey O'Boyle for our pre-game preview. The Summit City Sports Game of the Week presented by Kelly Automotive Group. So now we'll listen to Casey.
Okay, welcome in, everybody, to week number 2 preview of Northeast Indiana High School football. My name is Jeff Mahoney, and I'm joined by Casey O'Boyle of Northeast Indiana Game Night. So this is our week 2 preview. And for Summit City Sports, the game of the week will be Bishop Dwenger at Northside. And Casey, not many people had Northside beating Snyder last week. And
you did.
I did,
yeah.
But beating them by 30 points, that was a little shocking. But what a performance we saw by Deuce Taylor. I got to tell you, I've been covering high school football as a participant or a fan or in the media for a long time. I don't know that I've ever seen a quarterback display like that.
I totally agree with you, especially if you're talking just pure passing, right? And I'm sure we've seen some great performances out of guys running and passing, but what he did throwing the ball last week off his back foot half the time, off balance, sometimes running for his life. We talked last week, Jeff, about Snyder's ability to get pressure with their front four, and they did that. And it still didn't matter. He threw 2 or 3 dimes that were just unbelievable. Had a game for the ages, and, clearly he was our player of the week. We discussed that this week as well. And there were a lot of great performances, don't get me wrong, but I don't see how anybody could take another player this particular week, knowing what Deuce Taylor did, 18 of 26, 378 yards, 5 touchdowns. Those two, the 5 touchdowns and the 378 are school records. Northside's been playing football since 1927. That's just remarkable to set 2 records in one night like that. And not only did he set 2 records, but to do it against the Snyder Panthers. That, to me, is the biggest caveat of the entire conversation. So Snyder's still young, but my goodness, what a performance.
Absolutely. You see Ronald Collins III, who started off his career at quarterback there at Northside, really settling into his own. He had 119 receiving yards. What Jordan Turner did was absolutely outstanding. Athletic receiver, had a 70-yard touchdown, a catch that you see right there. And Hassan Lambert, the running back, he went both ways. And that's one thing about this game that really impressed me, was the pressure that the Northside defensive front seven was able to put on that big offensive line there at Snyder, led by DJ Moore. LaShawn Miller, Hassan Lambert, Jake Lambert. I mean, these guys are impressive, and not to leave out Arion McCarter.
Yeah, the defense was unheralded in this story for sure, with the points and the numbers that Deuce put up in that offense. But you're so right. You talked a lot about in the preseason how good you thought this receiving core was, and rightfully so. Adrian Sewell also had a nice game. Deuce did a great job spreading the ball around and really made that Snyder defense look out of sorts. I don't know if I've ever seen a Snyder defense look that discombobulated, certainly against a passing game. The last time I saw anything close to that was Jeff Samardzija-led Valparaiso team years ago. Had a pretty nice showing against the Panthers, and maybe there are a couple others that I'd have to dig deep to search for, but it did not look like a typical Snyder defense. On the other side, that Snyder offense looked out of sorts too. The first play of the game, the first play from scrimmage, with the fumble and the scoop and score by Northside, totally set the tone. And from that point on, Snyder looked like they were, I don't want to say scared, because that's Snyder doesn't play scared, but they looked out of sorts. And I'm not sure I ever saw a Snyder team, certainly in the years that we've been publishing Game Night, look that out of sorts, certainly against a team here locally.
I'd have to agree. And on the other side of the ball here this Friday is going to be Bishop Dwenger. They cruised to a big win against Wayne at their place, 35-12. Devin Tipman, he was second on the team in carries with 4 carries, but he had 19 yards, averaging 4.8. So it's kind of that game that we've come to see from Bishop Dwenger, where a lot of people are getting involved. That's one thing that Coach Garrett does a great job of. It's holding a lead and getting a lot of people involved. So what do you take away from that first win there from Bishop Dwenger?
Yeah, I agree, Jeff. There's probably not a lot to glean, certainly from a film standpoint. They scored just enough early on to, kind of put the game on ice at halftime. Ended up jumping out to that 35-0 lead and won 35-12. Rocco Sioka, two touchdown receptions, ended up with some good numbers there. You see him six receptions, 127. Really nice night for the 6'4" junior receiver who's drawing a lot of recruiting buzz right now. Brendan Lytle, the senior quarterback, looked like Brendan Lytle, very composed. That he had some pressure on him at times, but he did a nice job evading would-be tacklers. 11 for 16 for $170, 4 TDs, very, very efficient. The running game, though, was very, very suspect. I think if you crunch those numbers together, it ends up being, I want to say, maybe 2.2 yards per carry. That's not going to get it done tonight against Northside. There's just no other way around it. If the Saints can't run the ball tonight and keep Deuce and company on the sideline, I think they're in trouble. It will be a long night if they do not establish a running game. I think part of that running game, my feeling, is going to be Devin Tipman, whom you already mentioned, but also cousin KJ Tipman. He had 1 reception last week for 12 yards. This is a kid that is he's kind of in the fullback mold, if you will, Bishop Dwenger style, but he's strong. He runs well. I think he's going to have to get 7 to 10 to 12 carries tonight, and pepper that interior Northside defense if Bishop Dwenger is going to be able to sustain drives, chew up some clock, shorten this game, and have a chance to win.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to have to make the most out of their possessions because Northside, they can get up and down the field in a hurry and put up points. We saw that last week. They scored on a defensive touchdown to start the game. Not that Deuce Taylor and company need any help putting points on the board. So this one for sure is going to be a great game at Chambers Field, Northside High School, 7 p.m. on Friday. Can't wait to see.
Beanie's son, right?
No.
John Michael?
Jason.
That's what I thought.
Oh, it's Jason?
That's
Yes.
Jason's boy.
What about Joe Fabini?
That's the other one.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's his brother's son, right?
So John Michael is Jason. Hello, we're back. Welcome back, everybody. We were just talking to Mike Fiacable down there on the field, talking about John Michael Fabini and what a performance he had. He might be the guy in this game to really keep an eye on to see if he can get after Deuce Taylor.
Yeah, I think he's so important tonight, Jeff, for Coach Garrett. And what's so good about John Michael Fabini is he's like his daddy, Jason. He's so good with his hands and so strong. So I expect Dwenger to move him around and try to get some penetration at the point of attack and maybe give Deuce some different looks on defense. As far as Coach Garrett, I love the Dwenger program, and really when we come out and do high school games, I think Dwenger and their coaching staff, Jeff, is one of the programs that's the best at in-game adjustments. They can adjust on the fly. I did the sectional championship back in 2018 with Dwenger and Wayne, and I thought the halftime adjustments is what made the difference. So Dwenger's got a senior quarterback with a lot of experience. They have the ability to make the halftime adjustments, and if they can get a rush on Deuce by John Michael Fabini, they could be in good shape tonight.
Joe, obviously I spent a lot of time at the Traction AP Exposure Camp this summer, and one of the guys that really jumped off the screen was Jack Tipman. Big tight end at 6'5", 220 pounds. Jack only had one reception, and it went for a touchdown, and that was last week against Wayne. But he's a sure-handed receiver. I believe those short intermediate routes might be the key this week for Bishop Dwenger.
Yeah, I think so. And when you have a tight end that big as a quarterback, he's always your safety valve. When you get in trouble in the pocket, and Mike knows about this, it's nice to be able to dump that ball over the middle or dump that ball to the flat. And speaking of Traction AP, I tell you, between Deuce Taylor and Traction AP, they had the biggest night last week because as the scores and the updates came in, every kid that seemed to be making plays was a Traction AP kid, so they had to be really pleased with the results last week. But I agree with Tipman, and he could be key because Northside's got some backers that they like to blitz with, Jeff, and if they can dump that ball off to Tipman, that could be a great equalizer tonight for Bishop Dwenger.
They sure do. One of those linebackers is Hassan Lambert, who had 4 tackles and 2 tackles for a loss. You'll remember last week, it was the first play of the game for the Snyder offense. Lambert blitzed right up the middle, got a hand on the football, knocked it away from Darren Swanson, the QB, and picking it up was Jalen Walker for a touchdown. Northside was up 6-0 early in that game. So Hassan Lambert, Austin Chapman, who had a sack as their other linebacker, and LaShawn Miller. LaShawn Miller is an absolute stud. He's a tackling machine. Led their team with 8 tackles, had 2 tackles for a loss and a sack last week. So, Joe, we got our national anthem here. So we'll take a breather. So a beautiful rendition of the national anthem being sung down there on the track by a Northside student. That was absolutely beautiful. But back to it, yeah, that defense of Northside, they were getting after Snyder last week, and it certainly showed, limiting the Panthers to just 17 points.
Yeah, absolutely. In that front three, we talked about how much we like Jake Lambert, the 6'4", 240-pound senior, but we also felt like Desmond McKenzie was so huge. Desmond McKenzie plays the nose tackle position, 5'10", 290, and I don't think Snyder was ready for Desmond McKenzie last week, Jeff. He just seemed to take up all kinds of Snyder offensive linemen, and that's what freed up these linebackers to make plays. And I also like the fact of, I really like number 7, Trevon Redmond, at that legend position, 5'9", 190, the senior, and he is tough off the edge. It's going to be interesting tonight if Dwenger wants to play ISO football, how Mike Brevard and Greg Causey, the defensive coordinator, moves these pieces around. But also, Northside's got maybe one of the best defensive players in the whole area, and Arion McCarter. He was awesome last week. He's one of our favorites, Jeff. 7 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss, and a big interception early on that kind of swung the momentum for Northside. So we talked about it. Northside probably has the best 22 in the area, but they have 6 guys that play both ways, and 2 of their down linemen on defense, that front 3, Jeff, also plays offense. They got 2 guys going both ways in Jalen Walker and Jake Lambert. So really, can Northside stay fresh? Can they stay away from the injuries? Because when you look at their personnel, they are awesome. And I'm also really interested to see for Northside who's going to match up with the big receiver for Bishop Dwenger, Rocco Sioka. What Northside defender will match up? Will it be Jordan Turner? Maybe Arion McCarter? Who is Northside going to put out there to match up with him, Jeff?
Yeah, and one other name, Aspen Pipper Board,
yeah,
the second-string defensive end, was putting some big licks down there on the field. That young man can certainly hit. Well, folks, today's game is brought to you by Summit City Sports. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at 260 Sports, like our Facebook page, Summit City Sports, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Folks, right now we are only allowed to broadcast one game at a time, and this is worldwide on YouTube. So we will have uploads of the games afterwards for you to enjoy on YouTube. Of course, you can watch us live on Twitter, Facebook, and IHSATV.org. Kelly Automotive Group is Indiana's #1 automotive group with over 1,000 new vehicles and 500 pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Please visit drivekelly.com. Simple, transparent, reliable. At Tom Steele Tire, we've been serving the Fort Wayne area for over 40 years. We will help you find the perfect tire for your vehicle and other automotive repair services like brakes, wheel alignments, engine diagnostics, and more at Tom Steele Tire. We got 2 locations, one on North Clinton Street, right down the road here from Northside, and one at West Jefferson. That's a new location, which used to be the old Wendy's. That place is hopping. Big Eye Fish has been around Northeast Indiana area for generations. Like their Facebook pages for updated promotions. Enjoy the best fish in Fort Wayne in a family-friendly environment at Big Eye Fish. Joe, you know Big Eye Fish loves Summit City Sports. They were our second ever sponsor, so we love Big Eye Fish. You're invited to join ProFed Credit Union, where we get to know you, to better serve you. Sign up online in 5 minutes or stop by a branch. Join ProFed today and start owning your financial future at profedcu.org. At Ottenweller Contracting, we invest in our customers by providing peace of mind during the entire process, from bid to build. Visit OttenwellerContracting.com. They'll take care of your construction needs. Summit Volleyball trains and builds the highest quality volleyball players in the area, from ages 5 to 18. Our players are equipped with elite level skills and a foundation of life skills. Jump on board. Together, we can reach the summit at Summit Volleyball. Anderson Heating and Air Conditioning is dedicated to providing the best possible solution for your home or business. Visit AndersonCoolHeat.com to take care of your air conditioner and, better yet, your heater as winter's approaching. El Azteca Mexican Restaurant has been a Fort Wayne favorite since 1973. El Azteca Mexican recipes are sure to tantalize your taste buds. Visit elaztecarestaurant.com. And Parkview Sports Medicine continues to lead the way in Northeast Indiana. Our specialized sports medicine team offers direct access to physical therapy and sports physicians in our new Parkview Ortho Express Clinic located at the Sport One Parkview Fieldhouse. No referral needed, saving you time and money. Visit ParkviewSportsMedicine.com. And, of course, Summit City Sports will be at that Park One Fieldhouse tomorrow for some Gym Rats basketball, so we're never taking a break. We're always out with our cameras bringing folks the best in Fort Wayne athletics. So, Joe, we are just 6 minutes away from this game, and once again, no fans in the stands, but the action has still been hot on the field.
It's been hot in the field, and it's going to be hot in the area tonight. You know, other big games tonight, Jeff. How about Concordia hosting Homestead? And a little bit of history tonight. The first game on turf over at Zollner Stadium. That's got to be one of the oldest stadiums in northern Indiana. But tonight they play on turf. How about Amir Drew tonight on turf? And speaking of Concordia, I mean, I love my Archers, but it broke my heart. We had negative 35 yards of offense on that Concordia defense last week, Jeff. So we knew that defense was going to be better. And really, I think my Archers got a shot tonight with Northrop, but Concordia just devastated us last week. Now let's see what Homestead has. Now obviously Homestead was missing their first and second string linebackers. And what's interesting about Homestead is their corners. You know, there was a lot of questions about their corners. Their corners played well last week and held up real nice. So now you get the all-state linebacker back with Luke Palmer, and let's see what Homestead can do. And let's see if Homestead can get that quarterback position figured out. But that's a big game because Coach Manigault feels like that might be one of his best defenses for Concordia. So, boy, if you're Homestead, you can't go down 0-2 in this conference. And how big would that be for Concordia if they could open up the turf over there with the win? So that's a big win. How about Snyder and Carroll? You talked about it. Snyder always comes back and fights back after a loss, but that's a tough matchup with Carroll. And I watched that tape with Carroll. Jeffrey Becker didn't throw the ball a lot, but when he did, he was just right on the money. And Mason Engler had a huge game last week. The defense looked awesome, and I thought Carroll looked big on tape. So we're going to see what Snyder can do tonight with Carroll. And we mentioned Northrop. How about Cohen? I mean, Cohen almost ran for half the yards that he had last year, and he was awesome against Homestead. So, 280 yards of rushing? So, can Northrop come back and duplicate that? And how's Southside going to respond? We're better on defense. I mean, we got Lattimore on the edge. We got Maxwell up front. Jeff, we got some size. Southside needs to respond. Then the last game for Wayne and Lures, both teams, got beat down pretty good last week. That's a big game for those teams, Jeff, because when you're lower end of the conference, you want to win those games. So Lures really wants to come back and show that they're improved this year. Carroll gave them a woodshed beating last week, and I thought Wayne held up pretty good against Bishop Dwenger, so that's another good game. So all kinds of great games out there in the area, but we got a good one here, my friend, and this could be really early implications for the conference championship with this one.
Yeah, you talk about Amir Drew in that Zollner Stadium. I believe Babe Ruth played softball, at that stadium.
How about that history?
Yeah, that just kind of tells you how old it is. But Amir Drew, the second leading rusher in the SAC behind Braden Hardwick. Hardwick, 216 yards. Amir Drew had 170. Hassan Lambert had 94. But, Joe, he averaged 7.8 yards per carry. Also had a touchdown. That's number 6 for Northside. When you look at the top receivers, Mason Engler had 149 yards. Rocco Sioko of Bishop Dwenger had 127. After that, you got to look at Northside. Ronald Collins III, 119. Jordan Turner, 115. Adrian Sewell, 83. He had 83 receiving yards on just 2 catches, Joe, and a touchdown.
Yeah, it felt like he had so many more catches, but just felt like Northside had so many weapons. We talk about the great backs with Drew and Hardwick with Homestead. I'll tell you what, I thought Lambert for Northside is in that conversation because the way he ran last week with the one cut and go, it really complimented Deuce. So I tell you what, as we get out here and we see these kids play the high school football, it's such a treat because there's so many good prospects on each team, Jeff.
And there's Bishop Dwenger coming out as they do under Coach Garrett with the American flag. They are toted and ready to go. Coming from the west end zone are the Saints, getting ready to march on. Northside last week, 131 yards rushing. Bishop Dwenger, 45 yards. Northside, 378 yards passing. Bishop Dwenger, 173. Total yards, 509 for Northside. What a great number that is.
Against Snyder.
Against Snyder. Snyder's got some D1 linebackers,
well, you
too,
got
over
Moon,
there.
You got Moons over there. You
Maxwell.
Exactly, and you got Thomas at defensive end, but that was huge.
218 total yards for Bishop Dwenger. Points per game were the same there between these two teams, both teams with 2 sacks. Hassan Lambert with the 94 yards rushing. Devin Tipman had 19. John Michael Fabini led the Saints with 7 tackles. He had 2 sacks. LaShawn Miller led Northside. He had 8 tackles. Austin Chapman had the sack. Number of other legends had a sack. And Rocco Sioka with the 2 touchdowns led the Saints in points scored. Adrian Sewell, well, a ton of legends scored touchdowns last week. So Deuce Taylor leading the conference with 378 yards passing. Jeffrey Becker behind him, 182. Brendan Lydon with 173. So I know Mike Fiacable down there on the field was at the Dwenger-Wayne game last week. Mike, what did you take away from that game?
Yes, that Dwenger offense. I'm excited to see how they do tonight. Both sides of the ball, both Deuce Taylor and Brendan Lydon should be one of the top 2 QBs in the SAC.
Absolutely, and we are just 57 minutes away from kickoff here at Chambers Field.
I got my big question tonight, Jeff, is to jump in. I thought Casey O'Boyle really nailed it with your interview with him. What is going on? 24 carries for 45 yards against Wayne for that Dwenger offensive line. To me, that's the question tonight. Dwenger is known for offensive linemen, and they're known for playing ISO football. Dwenger's going to have to be able to run the ball tonight. They're going to have to control the possession, and let's see if they can get some guys back and get that fixed, because if Dwenger can't run the ball tonight, I love Sioka. I love the 6'4", 185, but Northside has the horses to match up on the outside. So that's an early thing to watch for me, Jeff. If you're at home watching the game, let's see if Dwenger can run the football, and let's see how Northside counters that.
In the middle of the field is number 6 for Northside, Hassan Lambert. Number 2, Deuce Taylor. For the Bishop Dwenger Saints, number 13, Brendan Lydon, the senior QB. And the Saints win, and they will defer. So Northside will receive here to open this game. And number 13 is 39, is the linebacker, John Michael Fabini. Fabini here on the roster is listed as a strong safety and running back. But I'm telling you, he reminds me of Khalil Mack when I watch him play ball. You know, Khalil Mack's one of the best defenders in the NFL.
Yeah, and he's like his daddy. His daddy worked so hard to develop his body and get strong. And Jason was so strong with his hands. And I think John Michael Fabini has those same Fabini hands, and he can really manhandle. So Northside's offensive line is going to have to really communicate, Jeff, and understand where John Michael Fabini lines up and account for him. So it's going to be interesting to see what early on both teams feel each other out. But, man, what a great high school matchup, and really already a huge early conference game, Jeff.
Looks like Michael Dye, the sophomore wide receiver at 6'1", 150, is back to return it for the Legends. And to kick off for the Saints, Joe Belanda, a junior kicker and punter. Hassan Lambert is your up man, along with Ronald Collins III. So there's nothing but weapons back there to receive it for these Legends. Belanda here to kick it off, and we got week number 2 started here at Chambers Field. That one's going to roll into the end zone for a touchback.
And that's what Dwenger's known for, is special teams. So great start with the special teams and the kick for Dwenger. So they came out and played some defense. So let's see what Dwenger can do. It's a great matchup. We've got D1 kids on both sides matching up in this game.
So one of the big offensive linemen you were talking about earlier is Jake Lambert, the left tackle. For Northside, their left guard is Wes Troy. The center is Brandon Brunage. Jalen Walker is their right guard. Aspen Pipper Board is their right tackle for this big north side offensive line. So it's going to be Deuce out of the shotgun, and offset to his right is Hassan Lambert. Middle linebacker Devin Tipman wears number 25 for the Saints. It's going to be a play-action pass screen, and that'll be tipped incomplete, snuffed out by Bishop Dwenger. They had 3 defenders around that ball, Joe.
Yeah, they did. I thought he had it initially, but Vinny Feecable comes over and takes Lambert on that. So good start for the Dwenger defense, and already Northside comes out with 4 receivers, and they're aggressive. So it's going to be a fun one to watch.
So that'll bring up 2nd and 10 from the 20-yard line here for the Legends. You see Dwenger, that swarming defensive front 7. They were all over Wayne last week in that game, the season opening game. Outside linebacker here for the Saints is Sam Pesa. So once again, that's a DB playing linebacker, and in the flats all alone, Hassan Lambert takes the pass. He'll be hit right around a 9-yard gain. Should bring up 3rd and 1 for the Legends.
Yeah, and that's a good way to check it down. It was Gavin Groves for Dwenger that makes the tackle, but I like that. And if you saw, Jeff, Dwenger's playing a 3-4, and those linebackers are getting deep in coverage, so that time Deuce just checks down, as you see on the replay, to Lambert, and Lambert gets a nice play for Northside.
Dwenger doing a good job finishing on the play, but once again, it was a 9.5-yard. No, they're going to call that 10-yard gain for a first down, and 10 from the 30-yard line. The pitch goes to Hassan Lambert, going around the right edge. 3 Saints in on the tackle. Leading the way for Dwenger was number 25, Devin Tipman, number 23.
I love to watch the Dwenger linebackers play, the way they chase to the football and keep their discipline on that play and close that down. I thought Lambert had more room to run there, and that could have been a big play, but Dwenger does a nice job shutting that down, Jeff.
Number 23, the junior linebacker, KJ Tipman, a big specimen along with Devin down there on the field. So it brings up 2nd down and 6 for the Legends out of the shotgun. Deuce, and it looks like we got a false start there.
Yeah, false start that time, and what happened is Dwenger's jumping around, showing some different looks, moving guys around. And that time, Northside's offensive line was a little bit spooked and confused and moved quick. So that's Dwenger. Dwenger's going to show you a lot of different looks. Dwenger's going to be extremely disciplined with that 3-4. And I think so far a good start with that 3-4 defense for the Saints.
Yeah, Matthew Jimenez, an inside linebacker. He's a senior at 6 foot 205. So all these Dwenger linebackers go 200, 205, Joe, and that's a solid 200 pounds.
And they all can run, and they all are disciplined and understand what they're supposed to do on defense.
2nd down and 10 for the Legends. Taylor out of the shotgun, Lambert to his left, looking downfield, and he's got a man. That's going to be just short. Pass intended for number 11, Jordan Turner, the junior wide receiver at 6 foot, 170 pounds.
And it's interesting on that play was Sam Pisa gets the pressure on Deuce that time. I thought they were going to bring John Michael Fabini up top on the edge. He falls back into coverage. So right now, some cat and mouse from that Dwenger defense, and Deuce is a little bit confused. So Deuce tried to step up, but that was good defense for Dwenger. So now a big 3rd down here, and Dwenger would love to get a stop and get off the field.
Jordan Turner with 6 catches and 115 yards receiving last week. 2 wide receivers up top, 2 to the right, as Lambert goes in motion, offsetting to the left side of Taylor. Taylor once again looking downfield on the out pattern, and wow, that was a bang play, breaking up that pass. Number 24, Noah Thurber.
Yeah, that was a good job by Thurber to close on that football and make that play, but I thought he was there a little bit early, and they could have thrown the flag, but Dwenger gets the break and a good stop there. So we'll see what Northside does. They want to get to the sideline and maybe talk about that series, but good start for the Dwenger defense, and now we'll see what Dwenger can do on special teams and if they can crank their run game up.
Yeah, that was, Callan Stauffer with the hit there, 3 tackles and a tackle for a loss last week for the Saints. Back to return it is Gavin Groves for Bishop Dwenger, along with Teddy Steele. Steele had a nice punt return last week for the Saints against him. We got a flag down there on the field.
Yeah, and I think what's going to happen with that is that's going to be on Northside. That looked like maybe a delay of game possibly. They were confused with their special teams, who was on that. So That's what you can't do. And if you're Northside, you don't want to give up that field position because you don't want to give Dwenger a short field. So really a great start to this game, Jeff, for the Saints.
And back to punt it for Northside is Arion McCarter. So rugby punt could be in effect here. He is a weapon for sure. Picks it up off the turf. That was partially blocked. Live ball is going to roll out of bounds. Wow, that's a loss of 2 yards on the punt.
Yeah, just confusion with Northside. You know, didn't have the right guys on that team. That ball kind of dribbles back there on the replay on the punt, and McCarter just hits it off the side of his leg. So, man, if you're Jason Garrett, this is exactly how you wanted to start the game for Dwenger. Now you have the short field. Can you crank up your run game, or do you take a shot here, Jeff, and try to go to the end zone early?
So leading the Saints is number 13, Brendan Lydon on the field. He has KJ Tipman on the right wing, 2 wide receivers down. On the bottom of your screen, up top is Rocco Sioka. Sioka, 6 catches, 127 yards, 2 touchdowns last week for the Saints. He wears number 86. In motion is Tipman. The handoff goes to Devin Tipman. Right up the gut off the right guard. That's going to be a gain of about 7 yards, and we got flags on the field.
Yeah, and that's ISO football, and that's what Dwenger wants to attack. Dwenger looks out there, and they see Jalen Walker, who played well last week, but Jalen Walker's only 5'11", 175, the senior, so Dwenger wants to use that size and attack that, but they're going to have an illegal formation that time. Dwenger had a wide receiver that needed to be off the ball, so an early mistake for Dwenger after a good run on first down.
So the Saints now will have it 1st and 15, ball at the 32-yard line. It's Devin Tipman in the backfield. Once again, KJ Tipman on the right wing. Shotgun formation. Fake handoff going to the right side. His second progression is Rocco Sioka. That ball is overthrown, intended for the big junior wide receiver.
Yeah, it looked like Jordan Turner out there on the coverage. And what's interesting, Jeff, is Northside's going man-to-man out there. So Northside's going to play 7-8 guys in the box and try to take away that run game. And that shows you how much confidence Coach Brevard has in his defensive backs to play man-to-man. But Northside has the personnel to do it. So good start for the Northside defense. Let's see what Dwenger does here. I bet you get a run here, Jeff.
So on 2nd and 15 here. 9:45 left to play in this opening frame as we're over 2 minutes in. And out in the flats is Devin Tipman. He's wide open. In the pass, that's going to be knocked down by number 3, Ronald Collins III.
Great defense that time by Collins III. When, I tell you what, when Lydon let go of that ball, I kind of tensed up because I thought Collins III was going to pick that off and go the other way. But, man, Northside is so good on the back end. And I tell you, that penalty with the illegal formation early on, Jeff, and you can see Collins in the replay make that play, but that penalty, Jeff, early on really pushed Dwenger out of what they wanted to do here, and now a big 3rd down here.
So 3rd down and 15. Ball placed at the 32-yard line for the Saints. The handoff this time goes to number 34, and he's got room to run. Hassan Lambert with the tackle. That's Gavin Groves, the junior running back, with the carry. Gain of about 9 yards on the play will bring up 4th down and 6.
Yeah, and that was a good play call for Dwenger. Try to get a little bit of that back. We're going to see if they want to kick a field goal or not, or go for it, but a nice recognition by Hassan Lambert to come down and close on that, Jeff, because if Lambert doesn't make the tackle on that, that could have been a big play.
Would be a 41-yard field goal attempt, but Coach Garrett's going to keep the offense out there on the field. It's Groves in the backfield with Brendan Lydon out of the shotgun. He's got trips to his left. That's Sam Campbell on the bottom of your screen, wearing number 10, the sophomore wide receiver. And we got a timeout being taken by Coach Garrett, and the Saints will take one with them. You're watching Indiana High School football here on Summit City Sports. Thank you for supporting Summit City Sports. For the last several years, we've provided the Fort Wayne community and beyond with coverage of a variety of sports, thanks to our title sponsorship from Parkview Sports Medicine. Since we began in 2015, our annual budget has covered the cost of videographers and commentators to over 300 plus games each year, new equipment and maintenance of that equipment, along with increased broadcast rights fees from the IHSAA. This season, we're reaching out to friends, families, and local businesses for additional sponsorships and donations. You can help us grow and get coverage to your favorite team or sport. A Summit City Sports sponsorship or donation will help make that happen. We have the goal of bringing fans live stream games of every SAC game we cover. With the additional funds, welcome back everybody. Groves in the backfield with Brendan Lydon on 4th down, and they're going to say 7. Lydon takes the snap, looking to his left, rolling to his left, going to have to throw across body. He's going to be flushed out, and LaShawn Miller pushes him out of bounds right about the 20-yard line. So a smart play there for the senior QB, not turning the ball over there, just going to turn it over on downs.
And that was tremendous defense in the back end. McCarter locked up a wide receiver, Jordan Turner, and we wondered if Rocco Sioka would be a factor. That time he is taken away. So how about the defense for Northside? Dwenger burns the timeout, and I thought Coach Garrett saw something they wanted to do, but also the discipline, the contain to be chased out of bounds. So that's a win for the Northside defense. So let's see now what the Northside offense can do.
So it's Deuce Taylor on 1st and 10 from his 24. Lambert's going to take the handoff, and he'll be hit right away. It looks like a loss of about 2 yards on the play as the Saints defense was in there to stop him.
Yeah, great push by the Saints defense. Looked like Matthew Jimenez got in there and made that play, but so far that 3-4 up front is doing a nice job against the run game. So Northside's going to have to get some passes here, maybe run some seam routes or really attack the middle of the field, Jeff.
Also in on that play was Mitchell Vogelweed for the Saints. And you saw big number 62, Vinny Fiacable. Taylor looking downfield, wide open. He's got his man. That's number 15 with the big reception, Ryan Collins.
That's Ryan Collins, and he runs the post to the middle of the field. And we just talked about Northside having attacked the middle of the field. But what the key on that play was, when you watch the replay, watch that Northside offensive line pick up that blitz. They stoned him. And look at that pocket that Deuce has there. Ball on time. Great play for Northside.
Absolutely, to bring up 1st down and 10 from the Dwenger 48-yard line. Taylor out of the shotgun. This time the handoff goes to Lambert. He's hit in the backfield immediately by Bishop Dwenger's number 39, John Michael Fabini.
And that's all conference on all conference. Lambert gives you that one cut, and he drops his pads on John Michael Fabini. John Michael Fabini's trying to shake it off after that play, but John Michael Fabini shows you that Fabini toughness to come down and make that tackle. So early on, I like the Dwenger run defense, but let's see if Deuce can go deep again. So many weapons with Turner, Sewell, and Collins. So many weapons for Deuce.
2nd and 9 from the 47-yard line. Taylor looking to his right on his second progression. Has his man, that's Jordan Turner, picking it out of the air. They're going to spot that ball down at the 15-yard line. A big play for the Legends.
Beautiful Deuce Taylor. Deuce Taylor is a Power 5 conference college player. That time on the replay, watch him look off. He looks off that time, comes back, and finds Turner. And all of a sudden, Northside finds the seams in the middle of the field. Excellent play call. I love what B.J. Johnson does for Northside with the play call. And I loved how Deuce looked off the linebacker that time, Jeff, and he shows you his arm strength to put that ball on the money. Beautiful offense for Northside.
Mike, what are you seeing down there on the field? It seems like Northside's starting to get their feet underneath them.
Yeah, guys, that was a great shot by Deuce. He hit him right there in the seam. Let's see if they can.
So on
let's see if they can punch it in here and finish the drive off.
Yeah, on 1st and 10, that was a give to Ronald Collins. That was Devin Tipman in on the tackle.
Yeah, and that's a great play by Devin Tipman. Collins comes across the formation in motion, and Tipman shows you that strength and fills that hole. And I'll tell you what, it reminds me of Southside. It seemed like 30 years we had a Reese on the Southside team. For Dwenger, it doesn't seem like it's Bishop Dwenger football to come out here without looking at the roster and seeing a Tipman, but that time Devin makes a big play, and that's a big stop on 1st down.
So 2nd and 10, ball at the 15-yard line as Deuce is going to roll to his left, and a big sack hitting the backfield. Devin Tipman making a statement for the Saints.
Awesome play by Tipman to run downfield. Deuce was playing within himself. He thought he had time to come back and throw that ball. I have to say, I don't like it when you roll your quarterback to the left and he has to throw back across his body. But watch Tipman's ability to close on that on the replay. That's how you close, and that's how you run down from a linebacker. And Dwenger, historically, is awesome at the linebacker position. That's a great play, Jeff.
And that was a big loss there for the Saints of about 7 yards. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 17 for the Legends. Taylor out of the shotgun, looks to his right, has a man, and that's batted down at the line of scrimmage. That's KJ Tipman in the backfield.
Another play by a Tipman. And right now, Northside's just going to have to understand where these linebackers at. Watch Tipman break through that time and get his arms up. Deuce doesn't have a chance. So great play by Tipman, but right now Northside's tackles are having some issues accounting for those linebackers. And we saw Northside's defense stiffen down here. Now we see Dwenger's defense get a big stop and stiff down here. So a huge 4th down here.
Joe, this is strength against strength.
Yes.
We've seen Northside sling it down the field, and we've seen the Dwenger linebackers putting pressure on these Legends. 4th down and 17. Taylor rolling to his right, cuts it back up, still looking downfield. Has to find somebody that's going to skip incomplete. That'll be a turnover on downs. So the Dwenger D holding tough.
Holding tough. And that's a great play by Deuce. Deuce steps up in the pocket, gets his shoulders downfield, Jeff, and zips it out there, but it was just better defense in the coverage out there. So that is something, if I'm Bishop Dwenger's defensive coordinator, I like that series. That was really a good stop there because Deuce put the pressure on, but Dwenger gathered down and protected their goal line. So, man, a couple of good defenses here, and we're going to see which quarterback can make a big play early, Jeff, but that's a great stop by Dwenger that time.
Absolutely. So on 1st down and 10 from the 22-yard line, Lydon and the Saints back out on the field.
Let's see if Dwenger can crank up that run game, and let's see how that Northside front handles it.
So Lydon out of the pistol alignment. The handoff goes to number 30. I believe that's Louis Tipman for the Saints, who's hit right at the line of scrimmage. I believe that might be Adam Lee, number 30.
And that's Desmond McKenzie. He just blows that play up. Desmond McKenzie blows that play up from the beginning, and there's nothing there. And you knew Dwenger was going to run it because Dwenger really had some tight splits that time and tried to smash that ball up there. But, boy, that Desmond McKenzie blew that play up, Jeff. So not much there on 1st down.
So now in the backfield is Aziz Dixon. So Coach Garrett here giving his linebackers a little bit of a breather with Dixon in the backfield, offset left to Lydon. He'll take the handoff, and he's wrapped up right away by big Jake Lambert.
I see you, Jake Lambert. That's how you play defense. Lambert fights off the block, comes down from the defensive end positions, keeps that outside arm free. That's what you want to do as a defensive end. If you watch the replay, Lambert beats off that block, keeps the outside arm free, and makes that tackle. That's great defense. So, wow, early on, the defenses dominate. Now, a big 3rd down for Dwenger, pinned deep in their own territory.
So they'll bring up 3rd down and 9 yards here for the Saints. Dixon, once again, offset left. 2 wide receivers on the bottom of your screen as Lydon rolls to his left. Once again, going to have to throw across body, gets his feet set, and that's a huge pass to Rocco Sioka downfield all the way to the 35-yard line. Flag on the play.
Yeah, how about Sioka on the post? I didn't think it's going to be pass interference on Northside that time. I didn't think Lydon was going to be able to get to him, but how about Brandon Lydon rolling to the left, back across his body, and throws a rope out there to Sioka. So that's a big play, and man, Sioka's tough out there. Michael Dye has got to make that play for Northside, so kind of a bust that time on Northside, but that's your first big play for Dwenger in the passing game. And Sioka, 6'4", 184, the junior, he has just emerged on the scene.
Yeah, that was a gain of about 30 yards on the play. Will bring up 1st and 10 from the 36. Set up at the wing is KJ Tipman for the Saints. The handoff goes to Groves, number 34, and he's met right at about the 35-yard line. Looks like a gain of 1 on the play.
And that is big boy football. Dwenger tries to run the ISO out of the shotgun. And, man, I tell you what, those linebackers, Miller and Chapman for Northside, you talk about filling that time and stopping that play. I am so impressed with how physical Northside has been this year, Jeff.
Joe, I was talking with the University of St. Francis coaches, and they love LaShawn Miller.
Oh, he's a baller. I mean, LaShawn Miller, you just put him out there and let him chase, and you say, hey, you go tackle somebody, and he'll do it every time.
2nd down and 9, ball at the 35, 36-yard line here for the Saints. Fake on the handoff. The out pattern is complete to number 10, Sam Campbell.
Yeah, and I like that play. They give you the play action, and that shows you how quick Lydon is to get that football out there. So Northside's going to have to tighten up and close down on that play, but I like that. I like Lydon with the play action. You know, Lydon really played well when he was a sophomore in that state tournament out play action. So Dwenger's just working those chains. Now it's 3rd and very manageable. This would be a great call for a screen to use Northside's aggressiveness against them.
3rd and 4, Gavin Groves in the backfield. That's Jack Tipman, the tight end. And he's met right away. And with the tackle for a loss is LaShawn Miller.
Wow, you talk about a play, and that's where Lydon has to see that blitz. And Lydon, being the senior, he has to check out of that, Jeff. If you watch the replay on that, that play was really in trouble from the beginning. Watch Miller bust through, boom, drop those pads. Lydon has got to see that and check out of that play. He's a senior, and get them in a better play, Jeff.
So LaShawn Miller, they're answering the call. We were singing his praises. That's going to bring up 4th down and 8 here for the Saints. Ball at the 35-yard line. And in the backfield now looks like Devin Tipman with Lydon as he looks down. Good pass protection. He'll slip and fall at the 40. That's going to be a turnover on downs after the 5-yard loss by the Saints. Daz, man, McKenzie.
McKenzie pushes the pocket, and Austin Chapman off the edge makes Lydon step up in the pocket, and Lydon loses his footing on that play. So, man, how about these defenses? We thought we'd see really some fireworks with a couple of great quarterbacks, and so far we're seeing phenomenal linebacker play, my friend.
So that'll bring up 1st down and 10 now at the 40-yard line here for the Legends. Hassan Lambert offset right to Taylor, takes it out of the shotgun, goes off to the side, and that's right through the hands, just a little bit high, intended for Ronald Collins III.
And Collins that time, he's got to get his head on a swivel. Taylor's bringing that ball and bringing it quick because that blitz is coming. Collins has the out. You got to get your head turned around because if I'm Deuce Taylor, I'm telling Collins in the huddle, hey, brother, that ball's coming quick, so you got to be ready. I like the short, controlled passing game, and that's how Northside's going to try to counter against the blitzing and the quickness of the Dwenger linebackers.
In motion for the Legends is Jordan Turner, and right up the gut, Lambert's going to carry some tacklers. That'll be a gain of about, he's still on his feet, looks like a gain of 4 on the play.
He's running hard, and it's Lambert against Fabini, and the Tipman's out there, and nobody's giving an inch that time, but I like the play call by B.J. Johnson because he gets 5 yards there. Now, you're at your own 45. It's 3rd down here. Dwenger's been hyper-aggressive. You know, maybe you come with a quick slant on the outside or maybe a screen, or maybe you come back and you attack that middle of the field. But I do something quick and let Deuce throw it here.
3rd and 5, ball at the 45-yard line. Once again, 2 wide receivers up top and bottom. Deuce going to go to the right, and he has his man, Adrian Sewell, his first catch of the game as he darts his way through the defense all the way for a gain of about 17 yards on the play and a north side 1st down.
And I see you, Deuce Taylor. That time he's got the hook on the inside to Sewell. Sewell gets open, finds the open spot, and Taylor just puts the mustard on. Look at that ball. Boom, right there. Sewell sits down right where he needs to sit, Jeff, in that spot and gives Taylor a target. Beautiful offensive football on the conversion for Northside.
An absolute dart, and 1st down and 10 from the 36-yard line on the jet sweep. That goes to number 21. Nice play in the backfield. Big tackle by Devin Tipman.
That's a great play by Tipman out there, and I tell you what, it's too bad they're going to get Northside for a hold. And that jet sweep, you just historically, you can't run that against Dwenger. Dwenger's too well coached and too disciplined, and those linebackers can run. So I know Northside wants to spread Dwenger out, but that's a great play by the Dwenger defense, and that's a huge holding call on first down, Jeff.
And that's a huge tackle by Devin Tipman there. And can you fault Coach Mike Brevard? Last week, Brashante Johnson scored on that play.
That's true. Johnson scored on that play, but that shows you the difference between, that discipline at the linebacker position that Dwenger has. The Dwenger linebackers are never out of position. Extremely well coached.
First and forever, about 20 yards for the Northside Legends. Taylor, he's under pressure, and he will be brought down. Taking him to the ground is number 25, Devin Tipman.
And what Dwenger did that time is Dwenger showed the blitz late. Deuce thought he had one-on-one on the outside, and he did, but watch Dwenger here. Dwenger comes up, Jeff, and they showed the blitz late. Look at that. Deuce wants to get rid of it, but everybody's route is too long. And what the receivers have to recognize is if he's in trouble like that, you have to come back to your quarterback. Everybody's running a deep route, and Deuce had nowhere to go with the football. But again, great defensive call, and I liked how Dwenger hid that and disguised that, Jeff, to the last moment.
My goodness, John Michael Fabini and Devin Tipman converging for that sack. We'll be right back after this first quarter break. You're watching Indiana High School football on Summit City Sports.
This is an invitation to join a movement propelled by people who care and members who have a share in the place they bank.
Good morning, Sam.
So when you have the chance to get your first home loan, you know an expert will guide you every step of the way. Or when it's time to buy your new car, you'll be treated like more than just a credit score.
Good news, ProFed can get you that payment.
This is an invitation to a place where simply belonging can help enrich your whole community. ProFed Credit Union. You're invited.
I was once a Southside kid who was led on a journey by high school football. A journey that taught me discipline, toughness, and the skills that made me a success. As a businessman with a CPA license who owns his own firm, I still use the building blocks of high school sports in my everyday life. Someday sports will end no matter what level you reach, but you will be left with the skills to compete in the next game, the game of life.
Welcome back, everybody. This is going to be a 2nd down and 35 from the 39-yard line for Northside. Mike Fiacable, what do you see down there on the sideline?
Hey, what I thought was going to be an offensive shootout, here we are to start the second quarter at 0-0 with both defenses. Look like they play tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. You're right. And, Mike, you know from your quarterback days, I think Northside's going to have to work the middle of the field with that short, controlled passing game. So I think you're going to have to come back with a lot of slants and a lot of hooks because when Deuce takes that 5 or 7 step drop and wants to go deep, Dwenger seems to really be getting the pressure on him.
Yeah, when that ball is coming out of Deuce like a rocket. If he can get it to his playmakers, here we go for me.
Oh, fumble.
And a big sack and a scoop and a score for number 23, KJ Tipman. Touchdown, Bishop Dwenger.
Wow.
First on the board.
Again, the pressure, Mike. It was Matt Jimenez that got in there and dumped Deuce, and Deuce has got to tuck that football away and wrap it up. And how about the linebackers again for Dwenger making that play? Look at that. Look at Jimenez. Breaks through, Jeff, makes the play, and wow. Sudden change for Dwenger. Jimenez is unblocked. Boom, he's on Deuce. Deuce has got to have the discipline to tuck that ball, and what a big play for Dwenger.
Huge start for Dwenger to start the second quarter.
And that's exactly how Northside got started last week, Joe, when Hassan Lambert came in and had a strip sack, and picking it up was Jalen Walker, the defensive end. So the Saints looking to go up 7-0 here in the second quarter with the PAT attempt will be Joe Blanda, and it's up. And it's good. Touchdown for your Saints.
Yeah, great defense for Dwenger again. And what Northside's going to have to do is Northside's going to have to shorten the routes, Jeff, and really understand the controlled passing game. And what Dwenger's doing is Dwenger's so well coached. Dwenger's giving Deuce so many different looks, and every time he has no idea where the blitz is coming and who's unblocked. So Northside's having a hard time picking up that blitz, and Deuce has got to see that. So what I do is I shorten the routes and get rid of that ball quicker. But so far, Dwenger's been awesome with the linebacker play. But even the game plan has been awesome to put the pressure on Deuce.
Boy, this game has been everything it was built up to be. Mike, what's it like down there on the field? Can you kind of feel the tension between these two teams?
Yeah, these teams, you can tell they don't like each other. They're getting after it. They're fighting. They're all over the place. And with Dwenger being up 7-0, we'll see how this Northside offense responds to that little adversity.
Yeah, I tell you what, Dwenger and Jeff knows. When you play against Dwenger, you dislike them. You respect them so much because they're so well coached. But everybody wants to beat Dwenger. So a good start for Dwenger. Update over on the other side of town. Carroll just gets a touchdown. Jeffrey Becker to Mason Engler. And Carroll's up on Snyder 7-0. So good start for Carroll and a good start here for Dwenger. So now let's see if Northside can figure out this blitz and see what they can do. Maybe use their aggression against them. Maybe you try some wide receiver screens, but you're going to have to attack and throw the ball short, and Deuce can make that adjustment.
Once again, back deep is going to be Michael Dye, number 16 for the Legends. To kick it is number 99, Belanda, and this is going to be taken right about the 5-yard line. And he'll take it outside, looks to reverse field, but the Saints are not buying it. And with the tackle, the first hit was by number 43 for Bishop Dwenger, Brock Stouffer, the junior DB wide receiver.
And when Mike interviewed Coach Garrett before the game, Jeff, Coach Garrett stressed discipline. And boy, it seems like that so far on that play on the special teams. Dwenger steams down the field, stays in their lanes, drops the pads, and makes a nice play. So again, poor field position for Northside. Let's see what Northside does here. Dwenger's giving them a lot of different looks with the linebackers. Let's see how Northside counters with their pass game.
So it'll be first down and 10, ball at the 16-yard line here for the Legends. Swing pass was there, but they're going to go to Jordan Turner, and he's going to cut it up. That is, number 1 for Adrian Sewell for the Northside Legends, and that's a huge gain as Northside's going to reverse the field in one play.
Beautiful, and that boy Deuce Taylor. You see, Northside understands the adjustment. The adjustment is that short, controlled passing game. They attack with the slant. Sewell runs the slant beautifully, and the key to that play is Taylor puts it out in front of him, and Sewell gets a big play. So there's the momentum that Northside needs. There's the adjustment to the inside blitzing linebackers of Dwenger. Attack with your speed on the outside.
Yeah, Joe, when Deuce gets that ball out of his hands quick and gets it to his playmakers on the outside, that Northside offense, they can be dangerous.
So in motion now is Sewell's. The handoff goes to Hassan Lambert. He's met at the line of scrimmage. He'll fall forward for about a gain of 3 yards on the play.
And Deuce is so good with that short passing game. I mean, I tell you, last week that was the best high school quarterback performance I've seen, Jeff.
So John Michael Fabini in there on the stop. Joe, take a look at it one more time.
See how he hits him in stride with that? Now watch, he's gone. Luckily the Dwenger defender had the angle and got Sewell down because Sewell's tough to catch. But that's the slant, and the key to that play is the timing and having that ball out in front of the wide receiver.
Second down and 7, ball at the 8-yard line. And Hassan Lambert will take it in the flats. 3 Bishop Dwenger Saints converge in on the tackle led by Devin Tipman, along with number 22 for BD. That's Sam Payson.
And that's the read that time for Deuce. Dwenger's playing that 3-4. That time they sat deep to cover those receivers, and I liked how Deuce recognized that, Jeff, and got that ball down to Lambert in a hurry. If you can get that ball to Lambert in a hurry, he can get you some positive yards. So this is a huge third down play early on in this game, Jeff.
Be third down and 3 here for Northside. In the backfield is Johnson along with Lambert. In motion is Turner. Hassan Lambert takes the handoff. He's going to cut it back. And filling in on the play was number 34 for the Saints, Gavin Groves, coming up and making a big play.
That's a huge play by Groves. I thought Lambert was going to take it to the house, and I thought he was going to get the first down, and Groves drops the pads, so it's going to be 4th and short. Look at Northside.
So we'll have to get out of that replay. And Northside right there was looking for a quick snap there on 4th down. And we got a timeout. It's going to be called against Bishop Dwenger there. They're in the goal line defense.
Yeah, and Dwenger called the timeout because Deuce saw something. He was going to quick snap him. It's 4th and inches. I think Deuce is just going to lay forward and get that first down. So that's a good timeout by Dwenger because Dwenger can get their personnel in, maybe their beef personnel. Dwenger's so good with their linebackers that I think it's going to be tough for Northside, maybe to get this up the middle. Dare you, Jeff? Do you take a chance and go outside with it here? But let's see how tough that Northside offensive line is. And for Northside, I love the center, Brandon Burnage. I mean, he's a 4-year starter, 6 feet 280, the senior, and he's really been a workhorse for them. But I can't tell you how big this 4th down is because in a game this big, good teams answer, and you want to answer that Dwenger touchdown.
And folks will want to make sure to get on our Twitter account, 260 Sports, and on our Facebook page, Summit City Sports. Because, Joe, check this out. I just had to tweet out this play here by Groves as he lowers the shoulder to save a touchdown for the Saints.
That's a phenomenal play by Groves, and that's how you fill it. And because of that play, now you got 4th and short here.
Gavin Groves and the Saints here on 4th down and 1. This is a big one. Under center is Deuce Taylor. Lambert in the backfield about 7 yards deep. He's going to go with the QB sneak, and I think Vinny Fiacable and that defensive line stonewalled him.
I think he's going to get it by about half a football. What do you see down there, Mike?
Guys, I'm right here, right on the line marker. Oh, they gave it to him. It was close.
Yeah, it was close. I thought they were going to come out and measure. If Deuce made that, he only made it by his credit card that time because that was close, but just enough push. And again, Brandon Brundage, the center, Jeff, 6 feet 280, fires off, and that's enough yardage. So now let's see. Let's see if Northside can punch the ball in here and answer that touchdown.
Brings up 1st and goal. Ball at the 1-yard line. Hassan Lambert offset right to Taylor, 2 wide receivers up top. Lambert now goes in motion, and Joe, they're just trying to spread the field there for Deuce to walk it in.
Boy, that looked like a great play, and it looked like Northside burned the timeout. But, man, I love that play. That's too bad they called that timeout. I like that play call.
So a timeout here by the Legends. We'll take 1-2. You're watching Indiana High School football here on Summit City Sports.
The Kelly Automotive Group is simple, transparent, reliable. Simple. Our customer specialists make buying a car easy and fun. Transparent. Our price listed is the best price. No hassle, no gimmicks. Reliable. Buy with confidence and peace of mind. We work hard to ensure the best value however you shop. Come see us in Decatur at the 2733 Auto Mall and shop
Welcome back, everybody, to Chambers Field, where it's 1st down and goal for the Northside Legends, looking to answer the call after that strip sack pickup 6 by KJ Tipman, and Deuce is going to run it in. That looks like 6 for Deuce Taylor from 1 yard out.
Yeah, nice play call. That's a touchdown for Deuce. Deuce gets it in there. Let's see if Deuce is okay. That was a big-time hit. Yep, he's up moving around. Looks like Northside has somebody down. But how about the play call? They move Lambert away from the formation and watch Deuce just take that ball in there, Jeff. Let's watch that replay. Lambert comes back, and Deuce, look at the size and the strength of Deuce. Deuce muscles that ball in there. That's a huge answer for Northside. And if you're Coach Brevard, you were so pleased after that deflating play where Dwenger gets the touchdown. You're seeing your quarterback answers and comes back and gets a huge touchdown.
What great camera work there by our cameraman, Pat Reith. Romero, and that PAT is blocked, so the Saints will take or hold on to the lead 7-6.
That's your special teams. Dwenger always plays well on special teams, and that's a little bit deflating to get that kick blocked, but that's your special teams for Dwenger. But on that series, Jeff, I love the adjustment on that slant pass that they come back to, and they go outside that time on that slant to Adrian Sewell. That was the big play, and I like the Northside coaching staff. I mean, they got great coaches on the staff. You talk about Greg Causey, B.J. Johnson. How about the great Larry Davis Jr.? Larry Davis Jr. was an absolute baller for Snyder. So, and Wade Raines, great coaches in the coaching staff, but I love the adjustment. They come back and run the slant and get the big play. So Northside's in business now. Now let's see. We haven't seen that Dwenger offense for a while. Let's see how that Dwenger offense does, and let's see if Northside's got any adjustments on defense. But, man, you picked the right one, my friend. We got a great matchup tonight.
Joe, I don't know if you saw that, but that looked like big defensive tackle Vinny Fiacable.
It was.
Yeah, leaping up there and getting his big paw on it. They got Fiacable listed at 220 pounds. You know what? He does look pretty athletic for that big frame.
He does. He is athletic. He's got good hips. He's a force. And what you have to do is when Fiacable jumps on that play, you got to put your hands right into his tummy. You know, you got to make him pay for jumping like that. So next time he doesn't jump, but Fiacable's awesome. Fiacable has great feet. He's a phenomenal prospect. And it just seems like every single year, Dwenger has big guys that can really move with the feet.
Hey, Mike, what'd you see from your brother down there?
Jeff, I'm sorry to correct you, but Vinny is definitely not 220 pounds.
That's what was
he's definitely up in the upper 300 range. So he's looking good tonight, though. He's being physical and he's getting after it down here. So.
He is physical, Mike, and he better get on one of your training programs. But he's awesome with the strength in his hands too, Mike.
Yeah, Mike, I was going off Max Preps, baby. Max Preps. I knew that 220 couldn't be right. Nice pickup by Groves as he's going to get hit at the 30-yard line. The pile will push forward. They're going to mark him about the 31.
You know what Mama used to say? Vinny's just husky. He's just husky. Vinny'd probably argue with you and tell you he's just a husky 260. But I tell you what, Mike, he makes the play there, and that's big because that gives you a little bit of momentum back, so you get the ball back and you're still ahead.
Yeah, not only that, Fiacable is committed to play at Indiana University to follow his older brother.
Boy, the Fiacables love Indiana. Why not Cincinnati, Mike?
I felt like home for Vinny. Great opportunity to play early there.
Yeah.
Just really familiar with the coaches and the guys.
Well, congratulations. A great program. And, the hard work of your brother to play Big Ten ball, Mike, it's very impressive. So, and Dwenger just continues each year, Jeff, to put those guys in those big schools.
Yeah, Vinny Fiacable, his dad was an offensive lineman at IU.
Well, there you go, man. And why was Mike a quarterback? Why isn't Mike playing offensive line? Huh?
I got the good genes. I got my mom. Shout out to my mom. I got her genes.
That's fantastic.
I'm going to tell you right now, Mike was one heck of not only a quarterback, but just a competitor. I covered him when he was a freshman basketball player playing against Harding and VJ Beecham. Nobody wanted to play for Dwenger. The freshman came in there, was making moves. So first down and 10, ball at the 31-yard line. The handoff, I believe that was Louis Tipman for a gain of about 4 yards on the play.
And I like Louis Tipman. Louis Tipman puts that outside leg in the ground, and he runs downhill. No wasted movement with Louis Tipman. Good push up front with that Dwenger offensive line, and that's what you want. Dwenger wants to play ISO football. Look at Tipman plant that leg and get upfield, and Tipman delivers the blow and always falls forward.
That's going to bring up second down and about 6 yards here for the Saints, looking to match that touchdown. They're looking to score their first offensive touchdown of the game. It's Lydon out of the shotgun and just offset left. The handoff going to go to, that's number 26, Louis Tipman again. You see him churning his feet. That time a gain of about 7 yards. Should be a first down for the Saints.
That's Bishop Dwenger football right there. The offensive linemen all blocked down. Tipman found the hole. And what's interesting is Dwenger's now taking that ISO game, and they're taking it a little bit wider out in the tackles, Jeff, and they're finding something out there. They're kind of running away from McKenzie. McKenzie's such a force up front for Northside, so what Dwenger's doing is attacking those ends with that run game.
Ben Tipman, the left guard, and Joe Fabini for the Saints paving the way. Louis takes it again for the third straight time. This time he's wrapped up right at the line of scrimmage. That looks like that could be a loss of inches on the play.
Yeah, and that's Austin Chapman that time, the linebacker coming up. Chapman's just a baller, 5'11", 175, but he plays like he's 220. Chapman comes up and makes that play, and what the Dwenger running backs are going to have to understand is they have got to stay in the hole, Jeff. If you step outside and bounce it outside, Northside's too strong. You have to stay in the hole and keep your discipline running that football.
It'll be second down and 9 after the 1 yard gain. Chapman did have a sack last week against Snyder. This time a handoff once again to Tipman. and lowers the shoulder. He'll pick up an extra 3 yards there. In on the stop was number 8, Therese Fashawn.
Yeah, Fashawn does a nice job to get him down, and I'm okay with that if I'm Fashawn, because Tipman had a chance to break that. And a lot of times we're in the secondary like that, you just want to get them down. But, boy, Dwenger's cranked up this run game, and now Northside's going to have to make an adjustment, and they're going to need LaShawn Miller to make a play here.
So that's going to be about 3rd down and 3.5, 4 yards here for the Saints. A big 3rd down, and Devin Tipman's in the backfield. They give it to the big man on the big plays. He's a big-time player, and we've seen that on defense, and that time right there gets just enough for the 1st down.
Yeah, nice play by Dwenger. They kick out the defensive end on that, and they run Tipman right underneath. So I like the play call. If you watch this, Jeff, they kind of put some receivers to the down screen and spread everybody out. Then watch how they kick the defensive end out right there, boom. And watch how Tipman gets in that crease, and that's just enough for a 1st down. So excellent play that time for Dwenger. I think that's going to move the chains. Let's see.
And we got the measurement there, 1st down for the Saints. Joe, that was KJ Tipman with the lead block for Devin Tipman. Those are 2 big boys, and that's what Dwenger's hoping for in this game, that their physicality can wear down Northside in the 4th quarter.
I totally agree, because Dwenger's deeper than Northside. Northside has 6 guys playing both ways, but so far the Dwenger run game looks much, much better tonight than what it did against Wayne.
Brings up 1st and 10, ball at the 48-yard line. It's Lydon out of the shotgun. 2 wide receivers on the bottom of your screen. And the handoff goes to Tipman. Tipman now has some room to run. Looks like a gain of about 8 yards, maybe 9 on the play. They'll mark it at the 40 for an 8-yard gain.
Now what Causey's going to have to do, the defensive quarter for Northside, he's going to have to make an adjustment. Right now, Dwenger is kicking those ends out and getting around those ends and pushing those ends outside. Causey's going to have to maybe roll up that legend defender that plays that position in Trevon Redmond, or maybe bring the free safety up. But Northside's going to have to give some help in the run game.
Yeah, Joe, that offensive line from Dwenger's pushing them right off the ball.
Once again, Tipman lowering the shoulder, but coming in, that was Arion McCarter along with LaShawn Miller. McCarter there lowering the boom for the Legends.
McCarter's a baller, and he wears that famous number 5 jersey for Northside, but that's what Northside's going to have to do, Mike, because right now Dwenger's pushing them around, and what Dwenger's doing is they're putting 2 receivers on the outside to take those defenders out of the box. I play man-to-man on the outside, and I roll my safety in McCarter, and I roll my legend defender Redmond, and I take away that run game.
1st and 10 from the 37. Joe, you saw Sioka turn around for the wide receiver screen.
Nice.
With Sam Campbell leading the way, but that was LaShawn Miller with the stick in the backfield.
That's the adjustment. The adjustment is more defenders in the box, and that time McKenzie takes the double team, and Miller makes the play, but Miller's shooting that before the ball snapped. Watch him, Jeff. Look at him shoot right here and get in there. And the quarterback for Bishop Dwenger, Brandon Lydon, has got to see that and get Dwenger out of that play, because the running back that time for Dwenger, Tipman, had no chance. But that's a great play on 1st down for Northside.
That was a big hit in the backfield for LaShawn Miller. Brings up 2nd and 11 after the loss. Handoff goes to Louis Tipman. He's stuffed right away, and who is it cleaning up the mess but number 9, LaShawn Miller.
LaShawn Miller is an all-conference linebacker, and I tell you, if St. Francis could get him, that'd be a coup, my friend. LaShawn Miller is awesome, and all of a sudden you see Northside makes the adjustment. Northside brings the ends in a little bit tighter and takes away those run lanes. Look at that play. Look at him shoot through and make that tackle. That's beautiful linebacker play. So now a huge 3rd down for Dwenger, and if I'm Northside, I make sure I find out where Sioka is.
That play was strung out by the defensive tackle, so now on 3rd and 14. Lydon looking downfield. He's going to be pressured. Putting on the pressure was number 7 for the Legends, who ends up cleaning up the mess, Trevon Redmond.
That's a fantastic call. It's a great call by the defensive coordinator. He brings the pressure that time with Redmond. Everybody's accounted for except for Redmond. The coverage is good on the back end. They play a zone cover 2 on the back end. Look at Redmond close. Look at that speed. Boom. Just gets to him so fast. Fantastic defense by Northside.
So the Saints are going to punt it here on 4th down and 14 from the 42, and back deep for the Legends. We'll try to catch that number ASAP. Looking over to the sidelines of Coach Garrett are the Saints and their punter, number 99, Joe Belanda.
Looks like maybe Turner back there, number 11. We'll see, but only a couple minutes left before the half, so you want to be careful.
Joe, last week against Snyder, and they're going to take the penalty. That's nice. It gives that punter a little bit more room to get that punt inside the 20. But you'll remember Jordan Turner had a big punt return last week. There was a blocking in the back called, but nonetheless, he's got the juice.
And that's a great point. I don't kick it to him if I'm Dwenger. I kick it out of bounds, but if you're Turner, you got to be careful.
So Belanda all the way back at his own 40-yard line lets the kick off. And Turner's going to let that one run. I'm not sure what he was doing there, as the Saints are going to down it at the 3-yard line. Making the final down on the punt is Gavin Groves. That's a huge play, Joe.
That's a huge play. Again, disciplined special teams for Bishop Dwenger. And if I'm Coach Brevard, I'm unhappy with Turner that time. Look, you're back there. You got to catch that. If you catch that, it saves us 15 yards of field position. Now, look, you got 2 minutes and 29 seconds before the half. To me, I'm going to be careful now. That really takes me out of what I want to do with my offense, because if Deuce drops back to pass here, he's going to be in the end zone. You don't want to get a holding call. You got to be careful. So I imagine they'll probably run Hassan Lambert here. But Turner has got to catch that football and save that field position.
And that's exactly why Coach Garrett took the penalty, to have that extra space. First down and 10, excuse me. Hassan Lambert's going to take a big hit right there, gain of about 3 yards on the play. And with that play right there, the defense is just teeing off because they know you got to run it.
Yeah, and that's Jack Knight in on that play, the nose tackle. Nice job by Jack Knight, but man, does Lambert run hard.
Brings up 2nd down and 6. Taylor on the play action finds his man, and that's Johnson. Breaks the tackle all the way to the 25-yard line. A big play for number 21, Bronte Johnson.
And that's a great play call by the Northside coaching staff. Dwenger's going to sell out on the run. Deuce gives you a great play fake on this. Watch Deuce in the play fake, Jeff. Look at that. Boom. Freezes him. And look at Johnson get north-south. That's a great play by Northside.
Joe, Bronte Johnson's only a freshman. He's 6'3", 170-pound receiver. And you're right, that was a great play-action play by Deuce Taylor. Brings up 1st down and 10 from the 25. And that pass is tipped, nearly intercepted. That's John Michael Fabini causing all kinds of havoc in the backfield.
And Deuce had Lambert early, but John Michael Fabini is fantastic. I mean, he is so quick on his feet and athletic. Now watch John Michael Fabini get in there. Look at that. Look at that. He gets his hands up. That's a great play by John Michael Fabini. So now it brings up 2nd down, and you have to ask yourself, Jeff, you're under 2 minutes. Do you keep attacking, throwing the ball, or do you run a little bit of clock here? So let's see how Northside decides to kind of manage the end of the half situation here.
Well, it's 2nd down and 10, and you have Deuce Taylor, so you throw the rock, and that one's going to be underthrown. Intended targets Adrian Sewell.
And that's the first ball all season long that I've seen Deuce Taylor throw that wasn't a good ball. That time Taylor, and see, that's the important part of Dwenger bringing that pressure. That time Taylor anticipated pressure, and he just didn't set his feet. That's the first bad ball, and that's really remarkable. I mean, we're almost halftime of the second game. That's the first bad ball that Deuce has thrown, and usually Deuce is money on that. So now you get a big 3rd down. You don't want to give the ball back to Dwenger, but you also want to be careful here.
It's a 3rd down and 10. The scoreboard is wrong here for you folks. And Deuce draws the Dwenger defense offside.
That's a great heads-up play by Deuce. Deuce sees the situation. You can see how hungry Dwenger is with the pass rush, and he gets an easy 5 yards. And also what that does for Northside is that's going to make Dwenger's defensive line sit back on their heels a little bit more, and it's going to make it easier for his offensive line to pick that up. So I tell you what, this is a big 3rd down here for Northside. They'd love to move the chains and keep the football.
And it's 3rd down and 5, ball at the 30-yard line, and another flag.
I think that time we're going to have false start. Dwenger showed the blitz late, and it looked like maybe a false start on the right guard that time on Northside. And if it is, that's a big play. So, man, you hate to give that 5 yards back up, but Deuce has a chance to see, Jeff. Dwenger is bringing that blitz game up the middle, and that's really what I would have done tonight if I'm Bishop Dwenger too. Deuce is a Power 5 college conference quarterback, and the only way you can really bother a quarterback like that is if you have pressure right in the middle of the field in his face.
3rd down and 10 from the 25-yard line. 1:54 still on the clock after the 2 penalties, and that ball just overthrown Ronte Johnson. So, Deuce, you can tell that the defensive front seven's getting to him just a little bit. We've seen a couple underthrown balls. That one just overthrown. We did not see that at all last week.
No, and that time, Deuce knew he had Johnson, but he really wanted to go to the outside, and he just over-zipped Johnson that time. So that's just Dwenger making Deuce a little bit uncomfortable, and Deuce just couldn't make that throw that time. But, hey, hats off to Bishop Dwenger. That defensive strategy, Jeff, has been good. So now let's see. Dwenger has won all night long on special teams. Let's see if Dwenger can win here on special teams and maybe give their offense some field position.
And this is one where Coach Garrett's going to bring his team over. He's going to say, hey, we're going to go for this punt block right here. We got an opportunity with 150. Let's bring the house. But with that, too, you got to be cautious of contain and making sure you don't have a wide receiver going up the seam.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dwenger smells blood because if you remember that punt in the first half, McCarter shanked it and ended up being a big play for Dwenger. So Dwenger smells blood. Let's see if Northside can get him blocked. And I tell you what, you know, you don't want to gamble here with the fake, but, man, if Northside's so aggressive, I mean, McCarter, your punter, is a heck of a player back there. So let's see what they do here, and let's see if Dwenger may just want to fall back and play the field position here.
So on 4th down and 10 from the 25. Back to punt it will be Arion McCarter. He certainly can run it. You know, last week Arion also had a few catches for the Legends. He's not only a defender, a low punt, and the Saints are going to let that one roll dead all the way at the 44.
And you'll take that if you're Northside. So that's good execution on special teams for Northside. So let's see what Dwenger does here. You've got the big receiver on the outside, Siaka, 6'4", 185. You got your senior quarterback. Let's see if Dwenger's got a 2-minute offense and how they choose to attack Northside here.
1st down and 10. The Saints still looking for their first offensive touchdown in this game. Northside's defense is holding true to form from what we saw a week ago.
Yeah, Northside has just stoned them so far, so let's see.
Louis Tipman in the backfield with Lydon, 2 wide receivers on the bottom of your screen. Lydon on the out pattern finds Rocco Sioka, who cuts it up and gets about 7 yards after the catch. That was a huge play by the junior wide receiver, 6'4", 190-pound Rocco Sioka.
And nice ball by Lydon that time. Lydon looks off and comes back and throws the out. And Ronald Collins III really took a poor angle on that play, so Sioka was able to get more yards, and Collins III has to close down on that. But how about Lydon? He shows you his arm strength on that one.
So 1st down and 10 from the 40-yard line. He's going to follow the lead blocker, Louis Tipman. And Northside's going to get after him. Does a good job of getting that ball off. And what a catch. Rocco Sioka for a gain of 11 yards. Wow.
And how about Sioka? He comes back to his quarterback. Lydon's in big-time trouble. And Lydon shows you, though, the strength to get that ball to Sioka. And that's great to have your receiver come back for the quarterback.
Joe, sometimes as a receiver, you just have to find those open pockets. Handoff goes to Louis Tipman. He cuts it back to the left side. A nice downfield block. I believe that was Jack Tipman, number 83, for the Saints, who are marching right now.
Yeah, that's a great block by Tipman that time. And I'll tell you what, Dwenger just seems to always have linemen, too. And that's a great block and a big play. And now a chance maybe for Dwenger to get some points. And I blow a timeout if I'm here at Northside and maybe get organized with my defense.
Joe, check this one out. You see that big block downfield. He was still engaged 12 yards down the field. The big tight end, Jack Tipman, only a junior at 6'5", 220 pounds.
So strong, and when he locks the north side defender up, you're in trouble. If you're the north side defender, you almost want to drop and create a pile on that because when Tipman locks you up, but boy, those backs for Dwenger too do a nice job of following the hole.
Joe, we were talking about this play here. All kinds of distress was Lydon under going downfield. He's going to find his big tight end target, and you can see there was 5 yards of separation. At 6'4", you're going to be pretty easy to find.
Yeah, and Collins, the third, is out there on Sioka. He's got to stay with him, but I can't tell you enough about the strength of Brandon Lydon to make that throw, Jeff, because that time I thought Chapman was going to drop him, and Lydon's able to step up and be strong on that.
And you see the soft hands here by Rocco Sioka, who's obviously Brendan Lydon's go-to receiver.
Yeah, and he's a big-time prospect, Jeff. Anytime you have a kid who's 6'4", 185 with hands like that and can run, he's a difference maker, and he really complements their run game because they put him out here wide, and Northside has to respect him. And I think the rest of the game, if I'm Northside, I would match McCarter up on Sioka and see if I can take him away.
First down and 10, ball at the 13-yard line. I'm telling you, Jack Tipman also complements that run game there from the left tight end position. But in the backfield, a huge sack for number 68, Aspen Pippert Board.
That's a huge play by Pippert Board. That was a designed bootleg by Dwenger. Dwenger thought they saw something, and Lydon would get the edge, but Pippert Board closes that play out.
Brings up second down and about 13. Lydon rolling out to his right. Has a man, and what a catch. Rocco Sioka down to the 1-yard line. 33 seconds left on the clock.
And just the timing of that. Lydon delivers the ball on the out, and Sioka gets a step on McCarter, and that's a huge play and a chance for Dwenger to maybe punch this ball in.
First and goal, ball at the 2-yard line. The handoff goes to Devin Tipman. He led the team in touchdowns last year, and that's 6 for the senior RB. Devin Tipman, Saints up 13-6.
And the strength on strength that time. Tipman runs through the tackle of Austin Chapman. And how about that for a 2-minute offense? How about Rocco Sioka making plays, Tipman making plays, and Dwenger cashes in? Look at the strength of Tipman. Just runs through that tackle. That's Bishop Dwenger football. Big touchdown for Dwenger, Jeff.
I'm telling you, Devin Tipman's been a man ever since his sophomore year here for the Saints. You know that, Joe, when he was their leading rusher his sophomore year. Landed the PAT is up. And it is good as the Saints will go up by 8, 14-6. We'll be right back after this quick break. 22 seconds left here in the first half for the Legends.
This is an invitation to join a movement propelled by people who care and members who have a share in the place they bank.
Good morning, Sam.
So when you have the chance to get your first home loan, you know an expert will guide you every step of the way. Or when it's time to buy your new car, you'll be treated like more than just a credit score.
Good news, ProFed can get you that payment.
This is an invitation to a place where simply belonging can help enrich your whole community. ProFed Credit Union. You're invited.
I was once a Southside kid who was led on a journey by high school football. A journey that taught me discipline, toughness, and the skills that made me a success. As a businessman with a CPA license who owns his own firm, I still use the building blocks of high school sports in my everyday life. Someday sports will end no matter what level you reach, but you will be left with the skills to compete in the next game, the game of life.
Welcome back, everybody. 14-6 is your score with 22 seconds remaining, and back to return it now for Northside is Adrian Sewell, number 1, for the first time in this game. The kickoff's going to go to Jordan Turner. Tried to field it, but that'll be in the end zone for a touchback.
I tell you, those special teams for Dwenger really make a difference in big games. You know, we talked about how good Northside is with their 22, but something we failed to really discuss in the pregame is how solid and good Dwenger is on special teams, Jeff.
Well, 22 seconds remaining. Can Deuce and the Northside Legends come up with some trickery? The hook and ladder, an out pattern where you sling it back to a trailing wide receiver. What do you think, Joe? Or do you put a knee on it and just head back in the locker room?
I come out here and I maybe try a slant, or maybe I try a fade, see if I can get a flag or get a big play. You never know. I would have keep attacking here, but be careful. If you get caught in the pocket for a sack, just tuck it and go down.
Turner in motion, trips in the bottom of the screen. The handoff goes to number 34, and a good job of stringing out that play. What a huge hit by the Saints DB. That's number 24, Colin Stauffer. Wow.
Beautiful by Stauffer. That's how you play the defensive pack position. Stauffer gets off the block, comes up, has contained, and makes the play. That's a great half of football for Bishop Dwenger, Jeff.
Absolutely, and that was a run by number 34 for Northside. Did I get that right? Don't see him on the roster.
Yeah, that was 34, and I think we had him last week. I didn't see him on the roster, but that was 34. But hey, good half of football for Bishop Dwenger. Let's see what Northside does for adjustments.
An outstanding first half of football here at Chambers Field in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Bishop Dwenger takes a 14-6 lead into the break. We'll be right back with some halftime talks with Mike Fiacable and Joe Walburn. You're watching Summit City Sports here in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Where we have to do this? A bit of a hill.
His mother said, if you're coming to school, you got to bring your sister because they have to go and work in the fields. So this kid carries his 1-year-old sister everywhere. A lot of those kids don't eat in the morning. A lot of those kids, the only place they do eat is at that school.
I thought going up that mountain, Mary's meals can reach everywhere that there's a hungry child.
You see what happens after a simple meal? It just came to life.
Love reaches everywhere.
Parkview Sports Medicine's integrated sports medicine team is built.
We got Coach Jason Garrett down on the field, Mike Fiacable.
Hey, Coach, great way to from your offense to end the second half. What are you looking in the second half to make some adjustments to Taylor Northside offense? You guys are holding up good, but you do the second half.
Keep flying around on defense. I think we put pressure on, obviously, with sack, fumble, and touchdown. So that's offensive run game. Keep doing that. At the end of the day, as I said, execution, and we got to keep playing physical. They're going to come out and sling it.
Yes, sir. Thanks for your time, Coach. Good luck.
Yeah, we heard Coach Gary. He said we got to remain being physical. We're going to take this break, and we'll be right back with more Indiana high school football here on Summit City Sports.
Where we have to do this? A bit of a hill.
His mother said, if you're coming to school, you got to bring your sister because they have to go and work in the fields. So this kid carries his 1-year-old sister everywhere. A lot of those kids don't eat in the morning. A lot of those kids, the only place they do eat is at that school.
I thought going up that mountain, Mary's meals can reach everywhere that there's a hungry child.
You see what happens after a simple meal? It just came to life.
Love reaches everywhere.
Parkview Sports Medicine's integrated sports medicine team is built to serve the needs of all athletes in all sports. Our team's only goal is to improve athletes in every facet. PSM offers performance training to help athletes get better on the field, dedicated athletic rehabilitation and physical therapy to help them get better off of it, certified athletic trainers in our PSM schools providing daily support to our athletes, and a specialized orthopedic walking clinic when injury strikes. Call 260-266-4007 to speak to our care navigators or visit ParkviewSportsMedicine.com to learn more about what we can do to improve athletes at all levels. Parkview Sports Medicine. Become more. Joint pain, sprains, strains, or a possible broken bone? Make the Parkview Ortho Express Walk-In Clinic your first stop when you have an orthopedic or sports injury. Call 260-266-4007 for more information.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our cameras. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season, or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
I was once a Southside kid who was led on a journey by high school football. a journey that taught me discipline, toughness, and the skills that made me a success. As a businessman with a CPA license who owns his own firm, I still use the building blocks of high school sports in my everyday life. Someday sports will end no matter what level you reach, but you will be left with the skills to compete in the next game, the game of life.
Joint pain, sprains, strains, or a possible broken bone? Make the Parkview Ortho Express walk-in clinic your first stop when you have an orthopedic or sports injury. Parkview Ortho Express, located at the Sport One Parkview Fieldhouse, gives you access to quick care and orthopedic physicians when you need it most. Get x-rays, treatment, and referrals to Parkview Care, all in the convenience of a walk-in clinic. Call 260-266-4007 for more information.
Thank you for watching Summit City Sports. To help broaden our coverage, we're asking you to become a monthly sponsor to our Patreon account. We produce weekly highlights and live video broadcast. When the Homestead girls golf team won its first state title in program history, we were there. When Fort Wayne brought back 3 state titles in cross country, we were there. We believe in sharing positive stories and setting the standard for how high school sports should be covered. Join us and donate today.
The Kelly Automotive Group is simple, transparent, reliable. Simple. Our customer specialists make buying a car easy and fun. Transparent. Our price listed is the best price. No hassle, no gimmicks. Reliable. Buy with confidence and peace of mind. We work hard to ensure the best value however you shop. Come see us in Decatur at the 2733 Auto Mall and shop 7 brands in one location. The Kelly Automotive Group. Simple, transparent, reliable.
This is an invitation to join a movement propelled by people who care and members who have a share in the place they bank.
Good morning, Sam.
So when you have the chance to get your first home loan, you know an expert will guide you every step of the way. Or when it's time to buy your new car, you'll be treated like more than just a credit score.
Good news, ProFed can get you that payment.
This is an invitation to a place where simply belonging can help enrich your whole community. ProFed Credit Union. You're invited.
Welcome back, everybody, where the Saints lead it 14-6 over Northside. It all started with this play right here. A big defensive stop by Jimenez with the strip sack, and picking it up was KJ Tipman with the return. Mike, what'd you see on this play down here from the field?
That was a very impressive play by Jimenez, getting in the backfield, stripping it from Deuce Taylor. He's a big, strong quarterback back there. Being able to get it out of his hands and Dwenger picking up for a score is a huge spark to finish up the second half.
Yeah, and I have to say that was kind of the name of the game for Dwenger when they were firing on all cylinders, is when that linebacking core, that defensive line, was really getting after Deuce Taylor. Do you agree with that, Joe?
Absolutely, and I think what makes that play is Dwenger's coaching staff is putting those linebackers in position to succeed. And what I'm seeing down there, Mike, is I'm seeing they're recognizing a blitz and they're shooting those linebackers, and that time Jimenez got to Deuce Taylor so quick that he just couldn't get that ball tucked away. So that's the adjustment to me, Jeff, for Northside at halftime. We have got to understand who is blitzing for Dwenger, and that's a hot. We're old quarterbacks up here. When you see the blitz, who is the hot receiver? If you're the hot receiver, you've got to run to that open position and make that play.
Yeah, that Dwenger defense, they're bringing a lot of tricks and turns for that Northside offensive line. They're going to have to figure out a way to pick it up here in the second half.
Absolutely. And to me, that's the difference in the first half, Mike, is that Northside's offensive line has struggled identifying where the linebacker's coming on the blitz and picking that up. And if they can pick that up, Deuce can get rid of that football. Now, I liked what Northside did when they came back and they threw that slant route out there to Sewell. So that's how you really attack that slant. And I think Northside's got the advantage with some of their outside receivers. But I tell you what, Coach Garrett's a fantastic coach, and Dwenger traditionally has the ability to really game plan you up, and that's what it seems like in the first half.
Yeah, and that big play by Sewell led to this 1-yard plunge by Deuce Taylor to get Northside up on the board.
Yeah, look at that play. Look at Lambert. They bring Lambert back into formation, and Lambert gets the seal block on the inside linebacker. Watch Lambert here, Jeff. Lambert gets in there and watch the seal. Right here, what is that? Boom. So he gets the seal there just enough to cause a crease for Taylor to get the touchdown. So that's a great play call down the goal line. So I tell you, Northside responded there, but I really liked how Dwenger finished up the first half and managed that 2-minute drill. And I tell you what, I thought that the quarterback that time for Dwenger, Lydon, really did a nice job with Sioka, getting him involved in making those throws. Jeff told me how good Sioka is and how much he has come on, and I see it here because these are D1 kids he's matched up with out here for Northside.
Yeah, Joe, I was right there, down right in the live action. Lydon, he was slinging it to Sioka. Sioka, he's all at 6'4", as they say, and once they start getting hot, they can be dangerous.
Yeah, he looks long down there, and what I liked about the one play with Sioka is Lydon was in trouble, and Lydon is a good quarterback, and you saw the strength with Lydon to be able to, throw that football when guys are wrapped up around his legs and hips. But I loved how Sioka broke off the route, comes back, and makes that play, and I thought that was the huge play on that drive, Jeff, because that really set Dwenger up to get that ball down the red zone, then they convert.
Well, the thing is, with Sioka, he looks like one of them traction receivers, just like what we saw from Northside in week number 1. Those guys like to catch the ball out away from their body, Joe. They use their fingertips. They got soft hands, and that's what you want to see from a receiver. Now, Mike, take us to this play right here. This is your brother, Vinny Fiacable. This is a big block.
And let's see what. Oh,
got some hops, huh?
Yeah, I guess he got a little bit of my genes in there. I helped him out with that.
He jumped up over the credit card that time and got the block. You got to give your brother a little bit of love. But you know what about Vinny is? He's so strong with his hands and just the push, but the athletic ability to get up and block that. And I thought that was a big play, Jeff, because, it still gave Dwenger a little bit of separation. Now, it's a touchdown game, but Northside would have to get the 2-point conversion, but that's good push with Vinny. And I really think the first half, that's really just the difference, Jeff. I just think Dwenger's been a little bit more physical, but let's see how Northside's got some great coaches, and let's see how Coach Brevard, what kind of adjustments they make and what they can do with their offense, because I think, besides that last drive, the Northside defense was awesome in the first half.
Joe, this was a huge play there in the first half. Granted, you're inside 3 minutes to play, but you got to field this punt. That punt falls at the 15-yard line. Could have been fair call. Instead, it was down at the 3-yard line. That's going to be a nice learning play for the junior wide receiver.
Yeah, and I would be on him at halftime for that because that was a difference, Mike, of 20 yards in field position. And Dwenger needed that whole clock to get down and get that. If Turner catches that ball and Northside starts in their 20, maybe they end up punting from their 40, 45, and maybe Dwenger decides to bag it and not go for it. But that was big.
See the nice hands there by Sioka. And this is that play that you were talking about earlier, Joe, where Brendan Lydon was under all kinds of pressure. Brendan was saying, blow the whistle, but instead he found the open wide receiver downfield.
Watch the presence of the mind to gather himself. Watch the lower body strength. He's in trouble right there. Look at that. Just enough to get rid of it. But Sioka breaks off the route and comes back and helps his quarterback out. That was a huge play. Also on that drive, that quick out. Sioka runs a nice out to get outside and get that. But I thought that play by Lydon gave them the momentum, and all of a sudden they're down there. Then they could run the ball a little bit, and they had enough time, Jeff, that they could run or pass.
Yeah, this is Sioka making that grab. Mike, how hard is it when you got defenders draped at your ankles to complete a ball like that?
Yeah, that's a very impressive play from Brendan Lydon. Being able to keep your eyes downfield with guys swarmed all around you and make a strong throw right to your receiver, that only the best can do that, and Brendan looked good that last drive to finish the half.
And it's kind of interesting because, we hear so much about Deuce Taylor. Brendan Lydon's kind of been overlooked the last couple of years. And, we talked about he threw for 2,000 yards last year, 18 touchdowns, and I just thought he played really within himself in that first half, Jeff.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by SummitCitySports.com. Follow us on Twitter at 260sports, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Kelly Automotive Group. They are Indiana's #1 automotive group with over 1,000 new vehicles and 500 pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Please visit drivekelly.com. It's simple, transparent, and it's reliable. Tom Steele Tire has been servicing the Fort Wayne area for over 40 years. They will help you find the perfect tire for your vehicle and other automotive repair services like brakes, wheel alignments, engine diagnostics, and more. They got 2 locations, and one of them's right down the street from Chambers Field. That's their north location, North Clinton Street. Big Eye Fish has been around the Northeast Indiana area for generations. Like their Facebook pages for updated promotions. Enjoy the best fish in Fort Wayne in a family-friendly environment at Big Eye Fish. You are invited to join ProFed Credit Union, where we get to know you to better serve you. Sign up online in 5 minutes or stop by a branch. Join ProFed today and start owning your financial future at profedcu.org. At Ottenweller Contracting, we invest in our customers by providing peace of mind during the entire process, from bid to build. Visit OttenwellerContracting.com. They'll take care of all of your construction needs. Summit Volleyball trains and builds the highest quality volleyball players in the area. From ages 5 to 18, our players are equipped with elite level skills and a foundation of life skills. Jump on board. Together, we can reach the summit. Anderson Heating and Air Conditioning is dedicated to providing the best possible solution for your home or business. Visit AndersonCoolHeat.com. They'll take care of Anderson. They'll take care of you. El Azteca Mexican Restaurant has been a Fort Wayne favorite since 1973. El Azteca Mexican recipes are sure to tantalize your taste buds. Visit elaztecarestaurant.com, and they are just right. Well, geez, they're about less than a mile from Chambers Field here. Joe, you might be going to El Azteca after this game.
I thought about it. I was going to get Pat, our cameraman, and I thought maybe Pat and I could go enjoy some burritos, but the problem with El Azteca is those chips and salsa are so good, and I just sit there all night long and eat those chips and salsa. But, man, I tell you, we got a good one here, 14-6 Dwenger. What do you hear this score? Halftime, it is, I tell you what, it's unbelievable at the halftime. Carroll 33, Snyder 6.
Oh, boy.
How's that for a surprise? So we knew Snyder took it on the chin with Northside, but man, oh man, Carroll is all over Snyder at halftime. So, boy, some big adjustments out there, but, man, good games around the conference and really competitive games.
Well, Joe, you will remember my preseason SAC Player of the Year was the junior quarterback at Carroll High School, Jeffrey Becker. He's a gladiator out there. He's the ultimate competitor. He's muscular and he's fast. Joe, I was over at Empowered, the gym on the north side of town, 7:30 a.m. in May. And who'd I see out there? Deuce Taylor and Jeffrey Becker working out with Antoine Taylor and Traction AP. Those guys were getting reps in at 7:30 a.m. when everybody else was watching some Netflix episodes, quarantine.
And how awesome is that Antoine not only coaches his son Deuce but works with Jeffrey Becker. But you love Becker, and you talked about Carroll. I watched that Carroll Lures tape. Carroll was impressive. I tell you, I was a little bit stunned seeing that score, Carroll and Snyder, because I kind of thought Snyder maybe would respond tonight, but I think Snyder was still playing games with the quarterback. I would go with the young kid, Luke Halpert, but I tell you, Carroll and Snyder, that's quite a rivalry too, Jeff, and I tell you, that's big for Carroll. And Carroll's also good, the linebacking position with Steely and Mertz, so Carroll is loaded, and I tell you, for Northside, boy, you want to play better here in the second half, but you got Carroll next week too, so it's a killer schedule. But now let's see here. Dwenger gets the ball. Let's see what Northside does with some of their adjustments on defense, and let's see if Dwenger can continue to run.
Joe, and I think if I'm Snyder, I might look at putting Ison Robinson going both ways, playing O-line and D-line, the transfer from Bolingbrook, Illinois. Well, off the kick is Benito Romero, and back to return is number 33, Teddy Steele, the sophomore defensive back. That'll be taken by the up man for the Saints, number 34, Groves. Groves had a huge first half and one return to the 36, but he did take a lick.
Yeah, and that's a huge hit by Arion McCarter. Just drops the pads on Grove. But how about that return? And again, Jeff, Dwenger wins on special teams. So great field position. Now let's see. Northside's kind of jumping around and moving around. Let's see what that adjustment is. Let's see if they if they come back with Collins the third on Sioka or maybe McCarter, and let's see if they can slow down the Dwenger run game.
Joe, I really like Gavin Groves. He's only a junior.
Good player, real good player.
Lydon out of the shotgun, and handoff goes to Devin Tipman there on first down. He'll spin forward for about a gain of 1 yard on the play.
That's a nice play out there. I like that time for Northside. Jalen Walker comes down and makes that tackle, so I like the adjustment. Maybe if you're Northside, Jeff, you crash the defensive ends a little bit and come down and see if you can get involved in that phone booth football.
So they're going to call it a gain of 2 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 8 for the Saints. Lydon once again with Devin Tipman. Right behind him, offset to the right. On the wing is KJ Tipman, and he'll take the jet sweep.
Beautiful.
And the shovel pass, he's taken down by Hassan Lambert. Big tackle for a loss.
I see you, Hassan Lambert. That's how you come up and make that play. He diagnosed it, and I don't think anybody else is behind Lambert. Watch Lambert on the Traction AP replay. Watch him get off the block. Look at that right there. Boom! Drops his pad and makes the play. Beautiful. What a great start on the defense for Northside.
We got to watch it one more time because there was lead blocking there by the big O lineman for Bishop Dwenger, number 57, Ben Tipman. Hassan Lambert, that play was huge. Now Lydon with his right arm looking downfield, just overthrows Jack Tipman, the tight end. And you know what, Joe? Just 1.5 games into the season, I'm a little surprised that the Saints haven't been able to get Jack Tipman more involved.
Yeah, and it's interesting there as they roll Lydon out, they respect the north side pressure. I would maybe have Lydon sit in that pocket and have Tipman work that middle of the field, but no, they couldn't get him the ball. But hats off to Northside. I like the adjustments, and that's a good defensive series.
So the punt is off and nearly blocked. It's Jordan Turner who's going to field it at the 32-yard line. He's hit right away. And, wow, somehow gets out of the grasp of number 45 for the Saints as the helmet goes flying. That was Patrick Dolan.
And that's a good job that time by Turner. And I know you have to be brave and fearless to come up and catch that punt, but that's big. Look at the field position. Now Dwenger's like, look at McCarter. McCarter almost blocks the punt, so Dwenger dodges the bullet. But look at Turner, comes up and makes that play. So good special teams by Northside that time, and Northside's defense gets them off the field quick. Now let's see if Northside can get some rhythm with that offense, Jeff.
Wow, Tommy Whitty also there, number 16 for the Saints. So it's 1st down and 10. Ball at the 37 for these Legends. Ball at the 34. 2 wide receivers on the bottom of your screen. Rashante Johnson, the inside receiver, as the handoff goes to Hassan Lambert. Makes one guy miss.
Wow.
Big gain, about 7 yards on the play. With the tackle was number 12, Colin Vance.
Good thing Vance came up and made the tackle. Vance had an interception last week. Watch the stutter step, though, by Lambert that time. Lambert just stutter steps and shoots through that hole. Watch this stutter step right here. Man, that's a great play.
So once again, quick handoff is stuffed by the Saints there at the 39-yard line. Jack Tipman in on the play. Jack Tipman playing a little DN for the Saints.
And Devon Tipman, I tell you, he makes every single play. And I tell you, at halftime, if you're Northside, man, you got to figure out how do we get 25 in white block because he's blowing up all of our plays.
Mike, what are you seeing down there on the field here to start the second half?
It's getting physical. These guys are banging heads. Hey, they want to. Both teams want to win. Both teams want to win, and we're going to see who comes out here in the second half to start it hot.
3rd down and 5 from the 39-yard line. Deuce goes downfield, and what a catch behind his back by number 12, Rodney Woods for the first down.
Beautiful, and Woods runs a beautiful post that time. That's where Northside needs to attack. It's that quick 3-step game, and Deuce is on time with the football, and Woods makes a great play. Big conversion for Northside.
1st and 10 now. Ball at the 35-yard line as the Legends are driving. The swing pass out to Johnson. Makes one man, 2 men miss, and he's off. He cuts it upfield. Johnson gets it stripped at the 5 and catches it in the end zone for the touchdown, Legends.
Wow. What a play. Deuce swings the swing route to Johnson. Johnson breaks 3 tackles, and then he dribbles the ball in the end zone.
What did I just see? What an effort there by number 21, Bronte Johnson. Looking to make 2 guys miss. That's number 3. He cuts it back. Who swipes at the ball? pops in the air. Whew. Hey, all I got to say about that one, Joe, is da-na-na, you know what I'm saying?
And Johnson's like on the sideline giving thanks to God that time that he got the ball back because he did all the hard work. He broke 4 tackles, makes a big play, and almost gives it away. But how about Deuce, that little sidearm sling to Johnson? And Johnson's only a freshman.
Joe, he's only a freshman. Northside going to line it up for the 2-point conversion here from the 3-yard line. And Taylor's going to keep it himself, cutting through the defenders, and he is in. Did he clear it? He's got it for the 2-point conversion.
Oh.
Deuce, that was so nice.
What a play by Deuce. And at the end, Jeff, he dives, and he barely puts the ball out. And just like that, we have a tie game. Watch Deuce on this, Jeff. I thought it was going to be close. Watch him cut and put that football over on the Traction AP replay.
Mike, were you down there on the sideline? What'd you see?
Yes, guy. What a very impressive drive to start the second half from this Northside offense. Deuce on that slant to his guy out wide. Hey, that was a rocket. That ball's coming out his hand fast. It's spinning, and he's slinging it tonight.
Boy, he can spin it, Mike. That pass to Woods really opened it up. Johnson, and Jeff corrected me earlier and said Johnson's a threat on the edge because I was kind of wondering what Northside was doing, but Jeff was correct. Johnson is the threat on the edge, and a freshman breaks 4 tackles, scores a touchdown, and then your senior quarterback on the draw is able to put that football overneath. So, man, what a drive for Northside. What an answer. And I tell you, good teams make the corrections at halftime, and Northside has come out and made a statement in the second half, Jeff.
Joe, I had said it after that game last week. I don't know if any defense can absolutely stop this offense here at Northside. They can put it up in a hurry, and you just saw it right there.
And when Northside gets that tempo and they can break that huddle and get in and out of that huddle and make those plays, they are so dangerous.
Boy, was that touchdown the play of the year or what? Romero going to pooch kick it, and that's going to go out of bounds about the 25-yard line. So flag going to be thrown by the refs.
And Northside's being careful with that. So good field position again with Dwenger. But now let's see how Dwenger responds. Good teams answer. Northside comes out in the second half and just punches Dwenger in the face. Let's see how Dwenger responds, and let's see how Northside did a good job on that last series, and let's see if Northside can get another stop. But, man, what a great conference game. These teams are playing so hard, and both teams want this game.
Joe, I wonder how many views Johnson's touchdown is going to have on Twitter after this one, you know?
That could be your play of the week, man.
Holy
that was
cow.
Unbelievable.
So first down and 10 at the 35-yard line. This time Louis Tipman in the backfield. KJ leading the way. Woo. Tipman stuffed in the back by number 68. Once again, Aspen, Pippert Board. I love that young D tackle.
Pippert Board is a force out there. And now you see the adjustment. They're moving Pippert Board to end, and they're crashing those ends and taking away those run lanes. Watch Pippert Board just rip through here. Look at that. Boom! He's right on the ball carrier so fast. That a boy. How about the Northside adjustment? What Dwenger's going to have to do now, Jeff, is Dwenger's going to have to throw the ball on first down. Now it's second down here, but Dwenger needs to throw some first down passes going forward.
Joe, you remember last week Aspen was hitting the Panthers real hard. Now Lydon, designed QB run, cuts it up, and he's not going to be able to escape the last 2 legends. It will be a gain of about 3 on the play, so that's going to bring up third down and about 9 for the Saints.
And I don't like that play. Lytle's not going to get outside. You got Collins the third, you got McCarter, you got the legend position, Redmond running. You're not going to run away from that. What Dwenger needs to do is protect Lytle in the pocket and go one-on-one to the outside with Sioka. So Dwenger's going to have to throw the ball a little bit here in the second half. And you've got a great receiver. Look at Sioka down here, Jeff. Now they're going to move him to the wide side. You're going to have one-on-one coverage in the slot on Sioka. Work your big receiver here.
And Jack Tipman goes to the bottom of your screen at right tight end. Rolling to his left is Lytle throwing across his body. Has Sioka. Whoa. He just ran out of real estate, or else that would have been 6 for sure.
Yeah, and McCarter that time blows the angle. And how about the throw that time by Brandon Lydon? Watch Lydon throw this back across his body. This is a big-time throw. This is a big-time prospect, Lydon, to make this throw. But watch Lydon here, Jeff. Back across his body, turns his shoulders, and look at McCarter's angle. Bad angle, but Sioka is a difference maker. Match him up one-on-one, stretch the north side defense if you're Dwenger.
Brendan Lydon's kind of like Deuce, where they feel more comfortable throwing on the run. Handoff goes to Devin Tipman, straight up the gut, churning for about a 7-yard gain. Devin Tipman, I wouldn't want to have to tackle him.
No, he runs so hard, and that's the Dwenger adjustment. You see the ISO game, they bring it in tight and run it up the middle. They take away the north side crashing defensive ends. That's a great play call.
Second down and about 4, Tipman in the backfield, KJ off the wing. Ball in the dirt
Fumble.
and a fumble. Devin did a good job of just getting on that ball.
Absolutely, and that's being heads up. It was a poor snap that time, and you're right, Jeff. Tipman falls on it, or that could have been a disaster. So now it sets up a big third down. If I'm Dwenger, I come out with Sioka, I put him at the slot again on the wide side, and I work that side. North side may have to give in and give some help and double Sioka on this play. If I'm north side and I'm the defensive coordinator, Causey, I consider doubling Sioka.
So it brings up third down and about 7 for the Saints. Screen pass is called. It gets over to Devin Tipman. Tipman's got room to run. 32 was the line of scrimmage. He's going to take it down all the way to the 11-yard line. Gain of about 21 yards on the play.
Beautiful play call. Dwenger splits him out wide and runs the screen back to the short side where there's no receivers. Watch north side on this just chase. North side so hungry for the sack that time, and they make a big play, overrun the play, and watch Dwenger. Look at that screen. Look at north side. Totally out of position. Nice block by Tipman down the field. That's a huge play for Dwenger.
Brings up 1st and 10, ball at the 13-yard line. Handoff goes to Louis Tipman and cuts it up. He drags defenders for about a gain of 7 yards.
And the ability to adjust on the fly, Jeff. The first series, Northside stones him. Now Dwenger comes back and finds something on this series.
Looks like a 6-yard gain for number 26. For the Saints, it's going to bring up 2nd down and 4. Ball at the 7. Louis once again taking it to about the 6-yard line. Joe, I got to tell you, my sophomore year at Bishop Dwenger as a young middle linebacker, I played scout team defense. The fullback was Tim Tipman. That's Devin Tipman's dad. And the tailback was Brian Bobe. Do you know what it was like going up against that ISO right up the gut? It wasn't fun.
Yeah, Brian Bobe was a monster. He played down at Indiana. He was close with Rob Lucas, who was an awesome linebacker, played for the Cincinnati Bearcats.
3rd down and 3. Handoff goes to Louis one more time. Stretches out for the end zone. They're going to say he's down just inches before breaking the goal line.
And Dwenger's so awesome when they can get their run game cranked up. But watch how fast Dwenger breaks the huddle and snaps that ball. When they have that up-tempo run game, they are tough to defend.
Devin Tipman in the backfield. Will he get the handoff? And a flag is going to be thrown. Joe, you're absolutely right. Rob Lucas was
a monster
at Dwenger. He made that number 31 famous. That was the same number that Marcus Stepp wore for the Saints. And what a career he had at Cincinnati.
He was awesome. Rob was awesome. What made Rob Lucas so awesome was an incredible motor.
Yeah.
He played so hard, but Rob just had a great career.
1st and goal from the 1. The Saints are going to punch it in. I believe that was Lydon following his O-line.
Yeah, and that's a great job. That's just the push. Lydon understands the snap count that time. And how about that answer? You thought Northside had all of the momentum, and Dwenger just goes, 65 yards on that drive, Jeff? 60 yards? All the way down the field and just punches Northside right back in the face. So, man, what a couple of great football teams.
So Lydon in back-to-back weeks here scores on the QB keeper. You know, Lydon did a good job right there of kind of being cool Joe and then getting under center and snapping it real quick.
Yeah, great call. He quick snaps it and gets the touchdown. So vintage Dwenger, and let's see how Northside responds. I think that is, I would bookmark that drive there, Jeff, because that is a tremendous drive by Dwenger to answer, and let's see what kind of magic Deuce has. But boy, I tell you, with the running of Dwenger, and the big receiver on the outside, Sioka, they really have an advantage.
Joe, I definitely got it bookmarked. But that north side drive was pretty impressive as well.
It was.
I got to tell you, Bronte Johnson's touchdown might be the play of the year.
Yeah, that was an incredible play, and he dribbles it in the end zone. But what's key with that for Northside is that short, controlled passing game. Deuce shows you how quick that he can play in the pocket. So I like that adjustment for Northside. But I tell you what, this is one of these games you don't want to go anywhere. Stay tuned because this is a great matchup, and it's on Summit City Sports. And God bless you, brother, for letting us get out here and cover these kids. These are phenomenal high school football players.
Wouldn't want to be anywhere else. So the Saints are going to go for two here. Coach Garrett.
And what happened, Jeff, was Northside jumped off sides on the extra point.
Yep.
So Dwenger sees that and gets the chance to move the ball closer. Now Dwenger makes a mistake now and goes false start and gives it back. So if I'm Coach Garrett, I come back in and probably kick the extra point now because this extra point is huge. So Northside's lucky.
Yeah.
They're undisciplined jumping off sides, but Dwenger gives it back. So now if I'm Northside, you got some great athletes in McCarter and Redmond. Let's see if somebody can block this extra point. And this is big again. Once again, Jeff, special teams for Dwenger. Let's see if they come through.
So once again, your kicker for the Saints is number 99, Joe Belenda, a junior kicker punter for the Saints. Holding it will be number 88, and that is Max Robinson. He's only a sophomore, a DB and wide receiver.
And we get another. This time I think we're going to have offsides now on north side. Now they're going to move the ball back. And if I'm Dwenger, I come right back with my power rushing attack. And if I'm Coach Brevard, I'm upset now. I'm angry about that. That's two. I don't want them going for two here. I want you to line up in your position at special teams and keep your discipline. That's a huge mistake. Now, Dwenger, do you roll the dice and try to get two, Jeff?
Mike, what do you see down there? Why all these penalties?
I think it's just a little lack of just small mental errors from both teams here. Let's see if they can clean it up to close out this drive.
Well, this is a big play right here. I mean, a two-point conversion.
The charm.
It's a big play here.
Under center is Lydon. He's going to hand it off to Tipman. Tipman wrapped up, and that was Aspen. Pipper board.
That's a big play. I wouldn't have gambled that, Jeff. That's me. I kick the extra point no matter if Northside jumps off. Obviously, it's easy to say that after Pipper Board makes the play, but I kicked the extra point and stay up 7. But how about Pipper Board coming off the ball that time, beating the block and making the play? Man.
Yeah, a very impressive drive there from Brennan Lydon in that Dwenger offense. When they're running the ball and Lydon's slinging it to those big receivers, that Dwenger offense, hey, they're dangerous now.
And it seems like, Mike, you correct me if I'm wrong, I like it best when Dwenger is just quickly running that tempo offense and running the football. When they get in and get out of that huddle or get the line of scrimmage and quick snap that ball and have that run game, it just seems to be a lot more dominant with the tempo when they're moving faster.
Yeah, when they're catching that defense off guard, not when they're not getting set, that's when they're most dangerous because then they have options to either run, pass, or do whatever they want since that defense is set and ready to go.
And that was Vinny Fiacable there, just a little bit too aggressive there from his O-line position. He lunged out at Pipper Board. He was able to go against his aggression and come up with a big tackle for a loss on Devin Tipman. Not easy to get Devin Tipman in the backfield, Joe. It's not easy.
No, and Pipper Board does a phenomenal job of his defensive end position, firing off, and that was really the difference. He just beat Fiacable to the play that time.
So Northside looking to answer down by 6, and that's going to be a kickoff out of bounds. Coaches got to hate that right there. Back deep was Ronald Collins III. Collins III is like, I got to get my touches one way or another. Coach, put me in a kick returner.
That's right. Collins III won it. That's one of Jeff's favorites. Collins III's been out here for 4 years making plays for Northside. But you're right. You hate that if you're Dwenger because you don't want to give Deuce good field position. And Deuce really seemed to get warmed up on that last drive. So if I'm Northside, I come right back and I attack the middle of that defense. And see, the weakness in the Dwenger defense, Jeff, is the middle of the field because when you're shooting those inside linebackers to blitz, you just use those inside slots and you run those seams and those posts right where those linebackers were. So Let's see if Dwenger is still as aggressive with those linebackers, because Northside has seemed to be able to attack the middle of the field.
I'm sorry I keep on saying it, but I'm so impressed with Aspen Pipper Board, 6'2", 250-pound D-tackle. Deuce looking down the sideline, and he's got his man, Adrian Sewell, just got tripped up a little bit, his feet,
And Sewell had the step on him, and Deuce laid it in there. Watch this pass with Deuce. That's perfect. Sewell's got to keep his legs and make that, but I tell you what, he also had Lambert in the flat, which could have been a big play. If you watch the replay of this, the AP traction replay, look at Lambert in the flat, Jeff. Look at that.
Yeah.
That could have been a big play, but I understand because Sewell had the step on the defender and the ball was there. Sewell's got to gather and use his strength and make that play.
Joe, if Sewell doesn't trip up, he catches that ball in stride for 6. And just like that, that'd be a 65-yard score. That's what the Legends can do. On 2nd down and 10.
That's great defense for Dwenger. I mean, that's Joe Fabini that time just closing down on that play, Jeff. And, Northside wants to run the ball with Lambert and keep Dwenger honest. But those Dwenger defensive end linebackers, I tell you, that front 7 for Dwenger has just been awesome tonight. And really now it puts the pressure on Deuce. 3rd down, I'm looking for maybe Jordan Turner here, or maybe, Collins the 3rd, see if I can get a big play from one of my receivers.
3rd down and 11, ball at the 35-yard line. Deuce rolling to his left. He's walled off. Flings it up for Turner, who's going to be out of bounds while he makes the catch. They're going to call that incomplete, but that is vintage Deuce Taylor right there, throwing off his back foot. Joe, you saw the nasty pressure being put on by the Bishop Dwenger defensive lineman, number 53, Joe Fabini.
Looked like Joe Fabini had Deuce beaten. Deuce shows you that Power 5 conference form to even be able to make that throw. Not only does he make the throw, he's accurate with it. And what Turner has to do is Turner has to recognize where he's at in that sideline. He was just barely on the line, but you got to understand your feet and make that catch. So Dwenger's lucky. That could have been a big conversion for Northside.
Arion McCarter back to punt it for the Legends. That's going to roll out of bounds. It's going to be a punt of about 20 yards for Northside, so that's something they're going to have to add to their game here.
Yeah,
see if they can find somebody to get them a few more yards on those punts.
Yeah, they got to do better with that. Dwenger's winning that special teams. Now you got good field position. Now let me ask you this, Jeff. This would be a great opportunity on 1st down for Dwenger. Dwenger likes to run the ball on 1st down. How about you roll the dice here for Dwenger? You get one-on-one on the outside with Sioka, and maybe you throw one down the field. You get a short punt. You get great field position. This is danger time for Northside. I would watch out here. Dwenger could go deep.
Dwenger's got 2 wide receivers in the bottom right. How about if Lydon rolls to his right and finds Jack Tipman on the back end, but instead the handoff goes to number 27, Aziz Dixon, the junior linebacker running back. That's going to be a gain about 2 yards.
That's a great job by Jake Lambert to fill that hole and make that tackle. I'm telling you, man, I couldn't believe Lambert wasn't top 50 when they had that list. And that list coming out, no offense to South Adams, but the number 1 kid in the area in the top 50 is South Adams. That's 1A football, so I'm sorry, man. I'm seeing kids every week that are just dominant, but Lambert makes a great play that time.
They got 3 real players at South Adams. 2nd down and 7 here for Bishop Dwenger. Aziz is going to be hitting the backfield by Daz McKenzie.
And that time, I can't wait to see the traction replay on that one. Desmond McKenzie picks up the Bishop Dwenger center and just sets him in the backfield and makes the play. Watch this play. Watch McKenzie. Boom. Look at that. I'm going to take you where I want to go, and that's where I want to be. Phenomenal play out of the nose tackle. And we had Grant with us last week. Grant loved Desmond McKenzie. That was an awesome play that time.
Yes, it was. So now on 3rd down and 12 for the Saints, Aziz is going to stay in the backfield. Lydon looking downfield and has his man Sioka. Catch is going to be taken all the way down to the 39-yard line. Big-time gain of about 15 yards on the play. 1st down, Saints.
And that's a bust on the north side defense. They're supposed to be man-to-man on Sioka, and half the defense was playing zone that time. But watch Sioka on the traction replay. Watch him sit down right there and give his quarterback a target. Beautiful. But that's a bust on north side. McCarter's playing zone that time, and it looked like Collins, the third, was playing man-to-man, so north side's got to get on the right page. But if I'm Dwenger with Sioka, I roll the dice and throw the ball once in a while on first down. This is a great opportunity to attack north side here.
And the handoff goes to Tipman right away with the spin move. He'll be taken down for a loss of about 1 yard on the play for Devin Tipman. I'm telling you, Lydon to Sioka is just as good as Becker to Mason Englert. I mean, you're seeing these guys with
Absolutely.
a serious connection.
And what's impressive about Lydon is he's making the throws when it's 3rd and 10. You give Lydon a chance on first down to throw it. You know, it's much easier to throw the ball on first down than when it's 3rd and 10 and 3rd and 12. Now, Lydon is coming through. But that time, you know, Northside digests the play and makes the tackle, and that was LaShawn Miller. He was kind of dinged up after that, but Miller shows you his toughness and stays in the game.
Yeah, guys, I'm loving this quarterback battle tonight here between Brennan Lydon and Deuce Taylor.
Absolutely. On the play action, pump fake down the sideline. Lydon's looking for, that was number 86, Rocco Sioka, but a great play by, I believe that was Arion McCarter.
Looked like McCarter out there, and what you got to do is you got to turn around and find that football. But I like it. 2nd down, Dwenger stretches the field. Okay, you didn't get it, but that's going to make Northside back up a little bit. You got such an advantage out there with Sioka, and I thought Sioka was going to climb the ladder and make the play, but good defense with Northside. So again, as Mike mentions, now a big 3rd down. You got a good quarterback in Lydon, 4 touchdowns last week, 2,000 yards last year. Let's see if he can plant that back leg and throw a strike here.
3rd down and 12 from the 41-yard line. Lydon once again going to have to run. Throws across his body, and that'll be broken up at the last second.
Wow.
A great defensive play by number 7, Trevin Redmond.
That was a great play by Redmond. Lydon makes a tremendous play in the pocket, Mike, to buy time, and he has the back out of the backfield. But Redmond on the traction replay, watch Redmond's ability to recover and make this play. Redmond's out of position right there. Watch Redmond. Look at that. Look at that speed. Wow. That's the ability to reverse and make that play. That's a huge play by Redmond and a huge stop by Northside.
Looks like Jordan Turner back for the Legends. And once again, to kick it will be Joe Blanda for the Saints. Whistles blow on the field. Looks like we got a delay of game.
And just like you said, Jeff, they like to move him back a little bit and get a little more field to work with. Now, if you're Jordan Turner back there, you have got to come up and catch this football. Boy, how big was the Dwenger went for 2? And how big is it now for Northside to get some field position?
So Turner standing on his 10-yard line. And a nice-looking punt angle to the left sideline. That'll go out of bounds at about the 22-yard line. So I'm sure not exactly what Blanda was looking for.
No, that was a short kick. He's still walking. Look at that. That's going to be all the way up by the 30, and Blanda hit that off the side of his leg. That's the first play tonight where we saw Dwenger not win on special teams. Northside wins on special teams that time. So now if you're Deuce, you got the football, you're down 6. You know, you got everything where you want. I attack the middle of the field. Let Dwenger shoot their linebackers. Run your slots right back in the middle of the field.
It'll be 1st down from the 29-yard line for Deuce Taylor. And these Legends. He's in the shotgun. Offset to his right is Hassan Lambert. Picks up the blitz. Finds Jordan Turner out in the flats. Makes one guy miss. And the Saints converge. This defense is a converging defense. Joe, we used to run that drill all the time where the running back would just run it out wide and every single player on the defense would have to put a hand on him, you know?
So well coached. So disciplined with the linebackers. The linebackers chase and feel so good. And for Northside, you like the play because it's almost like a run. You get a quick 5 yards on that, but you are right. And it just seems like every single year, no matter what the names are, the linebackers are always good for Bishop Dwenger.
Trips up top here for the Legends. Going in motion is Turner. Taylor's going to hand it off to Lambert. Cuts back. John Michael Fabini says no. Not on my end.
And I just don't like that play call because John Michael Fabini has been crashing all night long. You're not going to get anywhere on that. It's second down. I would have thrown the ball there. Dwenger is taking away Lambert in that run game. This is going to come down to the fourth quarter to Deuce making some throws, Jeff, if Northside's going to win.
Joe, when John Michael Fabini gets his hands on you, you're going nowhere. You're watching Indiana high school football here on Summit City Sports.
The Kelly Automotive Group is simple, transparent, reliable. Simple. Our customer specialists make buying a car easy and fun. Transparent. Our price listed is the best price. No hassle, no gimmicks. Reliable. Buy with confidence and peace of mind. We work hard to ensure the best value however you shop. Come see us in Decatur at the 2733 Auto Mall and shop 7 brands in one location. The Kelly Automotive Group. Simple, transparent, reliable.
Welcome back to Chambers Field. Mike Fiacable on the sideline. What do you got for us?
Here we go. It's the fourth quarter. This is where great teams make plays when it's time. We're going to see here in a big SAC matchup in the second week who wants it more here in the fourth quarter.
This is a big third down, Jeff. And let's see if Deuce can work the middle of the field. But this is a huge third down start in the fourth quarter.
So it's going to be Deuce Taylor with Hassan Lambert to his right. Third down and 3. Ball at the 31-yard line. 2 wide receivers up top and bottom. Deuce rolling out to his right. On the out pattern has Jordan Turner in a spin move. Jordan Turner with a gain of about 20 yards on the play. He's electric.
Beautiful. Let's take a look at that on the replay, Jeff. Deuce is going to roll out this time. Watch how Jordan Turner runs off the defensive back. Jordan Turner creates what's called separation. Watch Jordan Turner's feet. And he creates a separation right there. Boom, he's out of the way. Look at the defensive back. He's on his knees. That's Northside football. That's what you want. One-on-one on the outside, and Deuce throws a strike.
Joe, that's the equivalent of a crossover in basketball when the guy trips over his own feet. Lofted up. That ball could be picked. And a good job of playing defense by number 1 for Northside, Adrian Sewell. Joe, that should have been an interception.
It should have been. Now I'm going to criticize Deuce, and keep in mind, I think Deuce is probably the best passer in the state this year. He got greedy that time. Look at what he had down the flat. He had Johnson. Look at Johnson in the flat, Jeff. Just dump it down and take what they give you. I understand you want to gamble, but Johnson was wide open. Just take the short pass that time and move your team down the field.
Brings up second down and 10. I, too, think Deuce Taylor is the best passer in the state. Out of the shotgun, Taylor looks to his left, and wow, Johnson didn't even get a chance to turn around on that out pattern. They're going to call it incidental contact as Sewell was looking for the flag.
Yeah, and Dwenger's lucky. If Johnson's turning around looking for that ball, that's pass interference. But Johnson had a bust. That time, Taylor, watch Taylor, he's throwing the out. Johnson's not running the route he's supposed to. He's not looking for that football. That's a bust on Northside. If Johnson turns around, that's pass interference. So that's a good no call. And now again, another huge third down. Third down and 10. Can Deuce plant the back leg and deliver another good pass?
Maybe Johnson was thinking out and up on that last one.
Could be.
Third and 10, ball at the 47. Taylor going to have to pump fake. He's got pressure. That one nearly picked off. Boy, in the vicinity was Joe Fabini, number 50. Jack Knight, number 50, the senior D lineman. That's a D lineman's dream right there, Joe.
It sure is.
Interception.
It sure is. And Taylor wanted to throw the post, but at the last second, the safety for Dwenger came over, and Taylor just wanted to be careful. That was a big-time hit on Deuce by Tipman, number 83, out there, because Deuce really had his ribs exposed, but he was being careful. If he throws the post that time, that could have been an interception. So I understand why that play got blown up, but that's a huge stop by Dwenger, Jeff.
On 4th down and 10, McCarter, and we got another flag.
False start on Northside, and man, I tell you, you hate to see that on the punt team because Northside's had so many problems on the punt team. Again, Dwenger wins on special teams, and that's a big penalty. I thought it was on Redmond that time. He just wasn't set, but Northside's going to have some work on this punt team.
So now it's 4th and 15 with McCarter standing at his own 34-yard line. Steele and Groves back for the Saints. High snap, and McCarter's going to have to run with it. John Michael Fabini chasing after him. Arion McCarter's got some room, but that real estate's running out. That's going to be a gain of about 7 yards. That's not enough for the first down.
I thought McCarter was going to make it. Again, the Northside punt team lets them down. Special teams. Bad snap. There was no way McCarter could get this. Let's take a look at this in the traction replay. Look at that. He's lucky to even get the snap. He can't kick that. Now he has to run. I thought right there he had a chance to get there. Look at the contain. Look at the hustle. Beautiful. That's your special teams coming up, running backside to make the tackle. Fundamental discipline. And that's exactly when Mike interviewed Coach Garrett before the game. What did Coach Garrett say? Discipline. There's Dwenger discipline on special teams, Jeff.
I'll tell you, John Michael Fabini is such a pest in the backfield, isn't he?
Plays hard like his daddy.
1st and 10 from the 44-yard line. Lydon hands it off. Louis Tipman right up the gut. And this is Dwenger football right now. They're going to pound you, and they're going to grind it out here in the 4th quarter, looking to hold on to this 6-point lead.
And Northside wanted to give McKenzie a blow, and I think at this point McKenzie has to stay in the game. This is danger time. 10 minutes left in the game. You just had a special team breakdown if you're Northside. Dwenger's got the ball at midfield. This is danger time. If I'm Dwenger, I go up top to Sioka here and see if I can throw a knockout punch here, Jeff.
The offensive line is surging. Jack Tipman at the left tight end position. KJ Tipman on the wing right behind him. It's Brendan Lydon in the pistol formation with Louis Tipman behind him. Louis is going to go to the strength of that line. Falls forward for about 3 yards.
Good defense again for Northside. They get the stop. But Dwenger likes that. Dwenger is going to run some clock, move those chains, and look at Dwenger now. Now it's 3rd and manageable. You got, 3rd and 3, Jeff? Now you have the ability here. You can run anything in your playbook. And this is where Dwenger's really dangerous here. But let's see what Northside can do. Northside's loaded with athletes on defense. If I'm Coach Brevard, who's going to make a play for me? What dog's going to step up and make a tackle here?
So this time KJ Tipman on the top of your screen there on the top wing. Lydon has Louis right next to him. The handoff goes to Lydon, follows the block of KJ Tipman. He's going to be taken down. That's going to be a gain of about 1 yard. LaShawn Miller in on the stop.
Lambert gets the push. McKenzie gets the push, and Lambert cleans it up. So now what do you do now, Jeff? You're 4th and maybe a long 1-2 here. 9 minutes left in the game. Do you gamble or do you punt? If I'm Dwenger and the way I'm running the football, I would gamble here, and let's see what Northside can do. If I'm Northside, I move my backers up a couple of more steps. Huge, huge play.
And if I'm Dwenger, I do what Jason Garrett just did. I put in number 25, Devin Tipman, and I probably hand him the rock.
Yeah, guys, if I was Dwenger, I'd run right over number big 62, Vinny Fiacable.
Run right over your brother, and that's what Northside sees. So let's see. Dwenger, looks like Dwenger blew the timeout. They're going to take a look at what they got in the defense there, Mike, because this is a pivotal play here. And Dwenger's smart. They want to be organized and make sure they're in the right formation with the right people.
Yeah, this is a huge play in the game. Dwenger's definitely going to have to be smart here in their decision making.
And if I'm Northside, I put McCarter on the outside on the big receiver out there, and I roll everybody else up in the box. I bring my linebackers right at the point of attack, and Redmond, my legend, I bring him up on the edge, Jeff, because Redmond's got enough speed. He might be able to slice in the backfield. So if I'm Northside, I absolutely sell out here against the run.
So watch for LaShawn Miller coming up on the blitz, along with Hassan Lambert. They got some big-time linebackers here at Northside. We want to shout out the Dave Jolly Law Firm here on this 4th down and 2 situation.
And look, Pippert Board's in the game. Northside, Mike, Northside has just rolled into a 4-man front. Northside's going to play a 4-3 here and put more size up front with Pippert Board. Let's see if it pays off.
So Brendan Lydon with a full house backfield, and he's going to drop the ball but falls forward for the first down. What a heady play there by the senior QB.
And they are lucky there, Mike, because Northside had some push. I think if Lydon hands that ball off, they could be in trouble. And just that fumble and picking it up just opened things up enough. It was almost turned into a quarterback draw. But look at Lydon and his strength to push.
What a play by him, making something out of nothing. That's what big-time players do in big-time moments. That was a huge pivotal down for the Saints.
And it keeps the drive alive. And look at that clock.
Mike, how much was that? How much of that play was instinct there by Lydon?
It had happened in less than a second.
The handoff coming from the wing position was KJ Tipman. He's going to drag defenders for a 4-yard gain all the way to the 40.
McKenzie makes the tackle, but I love that play call for Dwenger because, see, they get the motion going to the right and they run the wing back on the handoff, and that's going to make Northside be forced to stay home on these next couple of plays. So this is huge. This is the game here. This game's going fast. 7 minutes left. Northside desperately needs to stop here, Jeff.
Joe, and it's like Mike said, he had a half a second to think about that. You pick it up and you find the open seam, you fall forward for the first down, you do what you got to do to keep the drive alive. 2nd and 7, 7:30 on the clock, ball at the 41-yard line for this Saints team. Handoff goes to Devin Tipman in an outstanding spin move, and Devin Tipman is off all the way to the 16-yard line. I don't know about you guys, but Devin Tipman so far is my MVP.
Yeah, and he comes in the game and runs hard and gives some juice to that offense. But if you watch the traction replay on that, Northside's going to absolutely hate themselves. Look at this play. They got him in the backfield right there, Jeff. Oh, and Tipman just does that spin move. And look at Tipman run downfield. Boom, boom, run through those tackles. That's a big play for Dwenger. But Northside had him in the backfield, Jeff.
He's 6'1", 205 pounds. He's not supposed to spin like that and keep his balance and keep that momentum moving forward, but he did. 1st and 10 from the 16 for the Saints. Lydon, another handoff to Tipman. What a huge hole to run through for the senior RB. Gain of about 7 on the play.
And I thought he was going to score that time, and McCarter makes the tackle. But I tell you, you begin to see a little bit of Northside begin to wear down. Remember, Northside's got 6 guys playing both ways. 2 guys playing both ways on the offensive and defensive line. And look at Dwenger's push, Jeff. Look at that. Look at that hole. McCarter doesn't make that tackle. That sets a touchdown for Dwenger. Dwenger now is beginning to really put their will on Northside and run the football.
Joe, you and the big Cadillac could have drove through that hole. That was huge. 2nd down and 3, ball at the 9-yard line here for the Saints. More like 2nd and 4. The handoff. And you got to love these quick hitting plays that Coach Garrett is going to here for the offense. That time to KJ Johnson, but it's snap, handoff, line of scrimmage, fall forward.
Yeah, and just the tempo of it. Now watch Dwenger. Dwenger's going to milk this clock all the way down and snap this ball right around about 2 or 3 on the clock. Dwenger's just taking their time. They're running the football, hammering away, and really wearing Northside down.
On 1st and 10. And they're just happy to keep this clock rolling.
Yeah, and that's really Northside needs to get a stop here and maybe at some point even consider some timeouts, but Dwenger's just going to hammer away. Now it's 1st and goal, but this is Dwenger football, and it just feels like Dwenger slowly just wearing Northside out, Jeff.
Dwenger's got a lot of weapons in that backfield. It can reload real quick between both Tipmans, Groves. They got a lot of weapons back there.
Yeah, he's talking about number 34, Groves. He's been an outstanding player for the Saints. Handoff again to KJ Tipman. Breaks the tackle at the line of scrimmage, and he's going to try to pull defenders into the end zone, and he does for a 4-yard score. KJ Tipman and the Saints are rolling up by 12.
And that's just the heart of the Tipmans. You know, that time you see it in KJ. The Tipmans have traditionally played so hard for Bishop Dwenger, and it's a name that really brings a lot of pride to the program. And that time, Tipman stopped, Jeff. He's dead. Look at them push. Look at the leg drive. That's just the ability to want that touchdown and want that win, and that's a Tipman.
Who was helping him in the end zone? O-lineman number 57, Ben Tipman. So with the 12-point advantage, extra point for Belanda. And it's up. And it splits the uprights. So outstanding here at Chambers Field as the Saints take a 27-14 lead. You're going to need a super dynamic offense if you're Northside to get back in this game. And, oh, yeah, they have that.
They do. And so you're not dead yet. But I tell you what, when you come away from this tape tomorrow, if you're Northside, you got to fix your special teams. You fix your special teams, and if you can find a little bit more depth, you know, you'd be much better. But remember, these teams both are in the same sectional. They're in that sectional 11 and 5A, so there's a good chance they're going to see each other. But let's see what Deuce can do. You got 5 minutes left. You got a controlled passing game. If anybody can pull this off, it's Deuce. But I got to say, I'm really impressed with the discipline of the special teams for Dwenger. And we saw ISO football in that drive from Bishop Dwenger. And that's what Bishop Dwenger has made their name all these years.
Mike, that was some smash mouth football down on the field.
That's Dwenger football right there. That's what they want to do to you. They want to smash you in the mouth, control the clock, control the game, and they did that just on that drive. But there's still 5 minutes left here. Let's see if Deuce Taylor and that offense can cook something up here to get them back in here.
So back to receive it. Looks like Ronald Collins III, and that's a player that Northside absolutely has to get involved here, Joe, with 5:05 left to play.
Yeah, he's been quiet tonight. Let's see if anybody can make a play here.
And he'll receive that ball at the 3-yard line. He's going to return it. The playmaker wants to make a play, and he gets hit hard at the 18.
That is fantastic coverage. Dwenger steams down the field and makes the tackle. Looked like that was 24 that time for Dwenger, getting down the field, making that tackle. Colin Stauffer that time. But how about the special? Look at Stauffer break down and make that play, Jeff. That's special teams. Everybody's in their lane. Everybody's where they're supposed to be. If I'm the special teams coach tonight for Bishop Dwenger, I am extremely happy with this performance.
Joe, that was 34 Gavin Groves, who just keeps making plays. First down and 10, ball at the 19 for the Legends. Hassan Lambert in the backfield doing a good job blocking for Deuce, who wisely steps out. That'll be a no gain on the play.
And Dwenger's lucky that time because that was a hold on the inside receiver, Rodney Woods, and they got away with it. And Northside's got a player down, but Northside's going to have to keep Deuce in that pocket and really try to attack the wide side.
An official timeout.
What a game, Jeff. You know, what a game. And, you know, both teams, these are two teams that are going to win a lot of games this year.
So on this officials timeout, we'll be right back with the conclusion of this game from Chambers Field. You're watching Summit City Sports.
Excited about the place that it put us, and the quarantine hit, and we knew we had guys that were going to work hard at home, but just the idea that we could get a lot of them together working hard at a location with people that know what they're doing was really beneficial. And I think, you know, that training did a great job for those guys to kind of get the ball rolling for them, and they came back. And
we are back on second down and 11, ball at the 18-yard line. Deuce with a swing pass out to Jordan Turner. Just give that ball to Turner. He'll cut it up. He'll make a few guys miss. That was a gain of 5 yards.
And Dwenger's going to give you that now. Dwenger under 3-4. They're now going to drop their linebackers deep and make Deuce throw it underneath. And so Deuce is going to have to take those plays. But that's a great defensive scheme for Dwenger to force Deuce to drop that ball underneath.
So the Legends going to be looking for a big play here. The Saints have two safeties back. Looks like cover 2 with Groves, along with number 12, Colin Vance. Taylor, eyes downfield, goes for the out pattern, has Turner. And on that play, Turner gets an extra 5 yards. After that last hit there, you'd like to see him just get out of bounds and save some clock, but he'll take that one all the way to the 45. Jordan Turner's an absolute competitor, so you can't blame him.
Yeah, you can't blame him. That's a great route, but Dwenger's got to do a better job tackling on the edge. You can give up that pass to Turner, but you got to tackle. Now, if you're Northside, you don't have time to huddle here. If you're Northside, you got to run these plays from the line of scrimmage. Northside's moving way too slow right now. They have got to have more tempo But Dwenger out there, if you're going to give the pass up, you got to come up and make the tackle.
Inside 4 minutes to play, Taylor out of the shotgun. Has 3 wide receivers up top and looks that direction. Goes to the sideline where Turner was. And I'm telling you what, number 21, Bronte Johnson's like, you had me in the middle of the field.
Johnson was open on the deep post on the middle of the field. I thought Taylor was going to go there. He wanted to go back to Turner, but Dwenger had good coverage out there. But I'm with you, Jeff. I think I would have kind of swiveled my hips and rolled the dice and thrown the big post route down the middle of the field.
2nd and 10 from the 45. I'll tell you what, Deuce Taylor has been harassed like none other there in the backfield in this game. This defensive front seven, we said it was the key, and they have answered the call. Now downfield, look at him sling that ball all the way to the 10-yard line. Incomplete and intended for number 12, Rodney Woods. Joe, the strong arm of Deuce Taylor.
That's a perfect pass, and Woods had some contact down there. I saw the referee was reaching for his flag. I was wondering if he's going to throw it. Watch the arm strength on this. But Woods was kind of being beaten up on this post route. See that right there? Ooh, that's close, boy. But that's pretty good recovery and nice help out there by the Dwenger safety, Colin Vance. Vance had an interception last week against Wayne, but Vance does a nice job, Jeff, to come over the top and help on that.
Joe, Deuce just threw that ball about 50 yards.
Deuce is awesome.
Taylor once again on 3rd and 10 on the run, has his man, and that'll be a first down as the ball is complete to number 15, Ryan Collins. Big play for the Legends.
That's vintage Deuce. Watch this on the traction replay. Deuce breaks the pocket. All of a sudden, for a moment, he tucks the ball. Watch him tuck the ball here as he's running. That makes Dwenger sell out. Watch this right there, and then he comes back and throws it. Look at that ball on the run. Wow, that's a big-time arm.
First down and 10 from the 32, and the clock is ticking. 3:12 and counting on these Legends. Deuce rolling out to his right. Nice coverage here by the Saints. He's going to have to throw into triple coverage. Once again, that pass intended for Ryan Collins. The Saints are playing with a lot of DBs back deep.
Yeah, and Deuce took a big-time hit on that, so Deuce has got to protect himself. He wanted Turner on that, but he just couldn't squeeze it in there. I thought Deuce was going to tuck it and run that one, but he wanted to get the yard, so that's okay. An incompletion there doesn't hurt you. So if you're Dwenger, you're playing a little bit of this prevent, you still got to come up and make these plays. And if I'm Northside, maybe I come back and I attack the middle of the field with the slants and the hooks, Jeff.
And it's going to be a timeout here taken by the Legends. Mike, what kind of feel are you getting from that offensive line from Northside?
Yeah, if they can keep giving Deuce some time down there, he can make plays. As you can see, he's slinging it. He's finding when he finds his guys downfield, that Northside offense can be dangerous. You can see why Deuce is one of the top QBs in the state.
Oh, he's fantastic, Mike. I've never seen a kid throw the ball like that. I go back through the history of it. Remember Chris Ditto? Could step back on that back leg, and Chris Ditto could throw the ball through a wall. But Ditto couldn't move in the pocket like Deuce, and I love Chris Ditto. I think about Juan Gorman at Southside. If Juan Gorman would have played in the current offense, it's just no kidding. It's amazing what he could have done. But Juan Gorman isn't as good as Deuce, and a lot of us who've played quarterbacks, and Mike, you can comment on this, we kind of thought with this much success as Traction's having, all the 7-on-7, Jeff, we kind of felt like, the one quarterback coming up in this area was going to show up, and I think it's Deuce because Deuce can slide step, he can move so well. I think he could be the best high school quarterback I've seen, Mike.
Yeah, his dual threat ability makes him a big-time playmaker, and shout out to Antoine Taylor, one of the best in the business with quarterback coaching, and you can see why in his son Deuce.
And you were trained by Antoine, isn't that correct?
Yes, back in my old days. I'm retired now.
He's retired. 2nd and 10 from the 32. Taylor feeling the pressure, and just gets that pass off before John Michael Fabini takes him down to the turf. Wow, you want to talk about sharks surrounded by sharks. Holy cow.
Watch Michael Fabini come. But again, watch Deuce in the pocket. This play should have been a sack. Watch Deuce roll out. Look at Michael Fabini off the edge. Wow, but look at Deuce step up in the pocket and give the play a chance. But watch Michael Fabini, the ability to chase backside and come down. Look at that. I tell you, John Michael Fabini is fantastic.
3rd down and 10 now from the 32-yard line. Time's a wasting here. 3 minutes for the Legends. And Jordan Turner out here on the flats. That's Deuce taking another huge hit by John Michael Fabini.
Yeah, and Deuce is getting up slow, and Deuce is really taking the hits in the rib cage. And I tell you, we'll see if Deuce can come back on this play. Dwenger's just throwing the kitchen sink at him, and now it's 3rd and 10, and it's going to be a big play for Northside. And I think Northside's going to have to go and maybe throw a seam to the middle of the field. But you see how great Deuce is. Right now, you're seeing the toughness that Deuce has to hang in that pocket to keep playing.
He's tough, and he's got trips to the right of him. One wide receiver up top, number 12, Deuce, going to the sideline, has Jordan Turner right through the hands on 4th down and 10. We got flags on the play.
I think you're going to have a late hit. Let's see. That's a fantastic. Oh, he's going to have a hold on Northside. I thought Deuce got hit late, but that's a fantastic pass to Jordan Turner. Watch this pass. That is a fun. Look at that to the wide side. Look at that ball. That's an NFL throw.
I was right here, right in the action. That ball just slipped right through his hands, unfortunately for Northside.
Turner's better than that. He's got to make that catch.
Joe, John Michael Fabini just ate right there, coming off the edge.
I'm concerned about Deuce tonight because John Michael Fabini is punishing Deuce, and those hits are in the ribs. You can wear a flak jacket, Jeff, and Mike knows this, but when you take the punishment when you're in your throwing motion, and John Michael Fabini has just punished Deuce in the pocket, and we'll see if Deuce can kind of recover from those hits. But if I'm Dwenger now, ISO football here.
John Michael Fabini, I call him young Khalil Mack. Wow. He's beastly off the edge. 1st and 10 now. Ball at the 32. The Saints are just going to ground and pound here. Handoff goes to Louis Tipman. And Joe, at this point of the game, in a nice run, gain of about 8 yards for Louis. This point of the game, if you're Northside, you just want that clock to end.
Yeah, and I mean, it's interesting because Dwenger has exposed some of the Northside weaknesses. And what Northside's weakness is, special teams, and also they got a lot of guys playing both ways. So this isn't just totally the end of the world for Northside. You got a chance to look at this tape and make some corrections, and we'll see. Carroll was thumping Snyder last we heard, so Carroll's out there, and Northside's got a big game next week with them. But Northside's still going to see Dwenger probably in the playoffs. So let's see what Northside can clean up from this. But they're going to have to figure out how they can do a better job of protecting their quarterback, Jeff.
Well, we had talked about that. There's no doubt about it that this Northside offense, really offense and defense, when you look at their starters, are as good as almost anybody in the state. But it's all about depth when you're playing in the SAC, because the Saints, they go 2-3 deep at times. And Coach Garrett is smart enough to realize that, and he keeps his guys fresh. That's why you never hardly see a Bishop Dwenger player with huge, gaudy numbers, It's like 60 yards rushing here, 50 yards rushing here. But there's so many of the guys that can do that, and Coach Garrett's really smart. And that's why he's got a state championship under his belt and a semi-state appearance in just 2 years of full coaching.
Totally. And their offensive line cleaned up the mistakes last week and really have played well tonight.
Out of the shotgun, the handoff. And that was number 11, new QB in there for the Saints. Number 11 is Bodie Dickerson, the sophomore. He's a quarterback in DB, and he's another one of those guys that I saw at the Traction AP exposure camp this summer. He throws a nice long ball.
I tell you what, that Traction AP, we sit up here and get updates, and last report I had, Homestead had a shutout tonight, 7-0. So you talk about Traction AP, Homestead gets their linebackers back. You talk about Luke Palmer, Burton out there. They're awesome out there, and those corners have stepped up this year. How about Austin Keyser? He's a Traction AP kid, come out of nowhere, and he has played awesome at the cornerback position. But you talk about Traction AP, Mike. I mean, what they're doing with these kids over here, and I'm so excited because I come out here and do the games, and every year, Mike, the level of play in northern Indiana in high school football just continues to climb.
Yeah, Traction, they do a great job with Lawrence Barnett and Dre Muhammad. They get these guys they get these guys ready to play, and it shows on Friday nights.
It really does, and guys just compete. And what's awesome is, like Jeff said, you got Deuce Taylor working out with Jeffrey Becker, so you got the best of the best working with each other to get better.
3rd down and 3 from the 39-yard line, and the Saints are just going to push it forward for another first down. This game is pretty much all but finished behind that big, massive offensive line. And, Mike, how do you guys celebrate at the Fia Cable household? You guys going to get a big pizza pie? Or
that's private information. I don't know if I can disclose that.
So he's got to watch that because he's training people. See, Mike,
That's right.
Mike's all stealthy training people, but your little brother, he's going to want to get a big pizza pie. He's going to say, throw some chicken wings on that, too. And Mike's going to be like, well, come on now, big baby. Are we going to run tomorrow morning if we're going to eat all that?
And Mike's new age, you got to download his app, Trainer Eyes, and he'll work with you one-on-one with everything, nutrition, because it is everything these days, Joe. You got to take care of your body.
Yeah, you do.
Another nice handoff. That one rumbling for about 11 yards.
And that's interesting you mentioned that because nutrition is so key, and they talk about that at Traction too, and Mike can talk to you about that. You know, heck, we used to go down and eat the hot fries and the honey buns and play football and didn't think anything of it. Now I'm trying to lay off the chicken wings because, you know, my wife would like to see me lose a few lbs, but Mike's right. You know, the way guys are working out and training, you know, that nutrition is that three-legged stool. You know, you got to have that nutrition too, don't you, Mike?
Exactly, and that's kind of the part that people sometimes forget about. Nutrition is 70 to 80% of your results.
Yes.
Here we go.
That's a big run by Aziz Dixon, the junior. But absolutely, and Mike, even more important in this heat when guys are cramping up, to be hydrated and to have some good nutrients in your body.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what kind of, like I said, people kind of take it for granted, and you'll see guys that are not being hydrated or not fueling their body properly because they'll show just in their emotion and they're just conditioning and
recovery, Mike. Don't you agree?
In all aspects, and that just plays a big key in overall performance.
And I want to say, hats off to Dwenger. I don't think anybody makes second-half adjustments better than the Dwenger coaching staff. And I've said that for the last 3 or 4 years. And really, in this area, you have awesome coaching staffs. I think Coach Brevard is awesome. Tim Manigal over at Concordia is awesome.
Yeah.
Chad Zolman. Nobody's kids play harder for them than Chad Zolman. But Bishop Dwenger with Coach Garrett and Jason Fabini and all those guys on the staff, they do an excellent job with halftime adjustments, and I think you saw that tonight.
And that's going to do it here as Northside goes down 27-14 against the Saints. An outstanding game by both squads, and we'll see if big Mike Fia Cable can get interviews with Coach Garrett. I'd love to hear from Devin Tipman after this one. He played his heart out. Maybe John Michael, maybe Sioka or Lydon. We'll see who Mike can round up, but we'll take a break and we'll be right back with some sound bites and some post-game wrap-up after this short break.
The Kelly Automotive Group is simple, transparent, reliable. Simple. Our customer specialists make buying a car easy and fun. Transparent. Our price listed is the best price. No hassle, no gimmicks. Reliable. Buy with confidence and peace of mind. We work hard to ensure the best value however you shop. Come see us in Decatur at the 2733 Auto Mall and shop 7 brands in one location. The Kelly Automotive Group. Simple, transparent, reliable.
This is an invitation to join a movement propelled by people who care and members who have a share in the place they bank.
Good morning, Sam.
So when you have the chance to get your first home loan, you know an expert will guide you every step of the way. Or when it's time to buy your new car, you'll be treated like more than just a credit score.
Good news, ProFed can get you that payment.
This is an invitation to a place where simply belonging can help enrich your whole community. ProFed Credit Union. You're invited.
I was once a Southside kid who was led on a journey by high school football. A journey that taught me discipline, toughness, and the skills that made me a success. As a businessman with a CPA license who owns his own firm, I still use the building blocks of high school sports in my everyday life. Someday sports will end no matter what level you reach, but you will be left with the skills to compete in the next game, the game of life.
So that is a final here from Chambers Field, 27-14. The Bishop Dwenger Saints answer the call. Northside came in with the most buzz, the hottest team in the Summit Athletic Conference. And Dwenger said, not so fast. Dwenger's got all those years of tradition. They got the state championships, all those sectional championships under their belt. And they rose to the task here, getting pressure on Deuce Taylor and ultimately pulling out the victory by just playing physical Bishop Dwenger football.
Yeah, they physically wore Northside down. And when Northside watches this tape tomorrow, they're going to have to figure out their blitz pickup. But more importantly, too, Northside got beaten badly on special teams. Dwenger has the discipline to win on special teams, and that caused a lot of problems for Northside. Now, Northside, there's not that much difference between these two teams, but Northside's going to have to protect Deuce and come back to that short passing game. And the other thing with Northside is just their depth. So we'll see where Northside goes from here. What's too bad for Northside is now you get the monster of Carroll next week. So you talk about Snyder, Bishop Dwenger, and Carroll. What 3 games for Northside? But let's see what Northside does. And also, if I'm Coach Brevard, I say, look, we're going to see these guys again in the playoffs. So let's see how Northside responds to the adversity. But as far as Dwenger football, physical football, I watched the tape last week, and I was stunned how poorly their offensive line played against Wayne. Not tonight, my friend. The offensive line cleaned up those mistakes. They got some guys back, and they played Bishop Dwenger football. And I can't say enough about Brandon Lydon. It's not easy to be a quarterback for Dwenger because when you're asked to throw the ball for Bishop Dwenger, Jeff, it's always on 3rd and long. And Lydon made those plays. And I go back to that play at the end of the first half where he has a Northside defender draped across his waist and makes that throw to Sioka. I think that's a big-time play. And Dwenger makes the adjustments at halftime, and they just physically wore Northside out tonight, Jeff.
Absolutely. Northrop gets the win 27-7. So the Northrop Bruins are 2-0 and tied for the SAC lead along with Carroll and Bishop Dwenger. 2-0 for the first time since 2006. So the Indianapolis Colts Player of the Week, Jason Dorfler, hats off to him and the Northrop Bruins.
Yeah, good for Jason. Jason's worked hard out there, and that running back Cohen for Northrop is just awesome. So how about Northrop and how about Homestead? Homestead gets all their defenders back, and I can't believe Homestead shut Concordia down, Jeff. I mean, Concordia came in with a 2,000-yard passer from last year, Brandon Davis. Concordia comes in with Amir Drew. Amir Drew is an elite back in this conference playing on turf. Homestead comes in with their defense, and we heard, hey, Homestead's got some young kids outside at corners. Those corners for Homestead are awesome, and they get their all-state linebacker back, and Homestead, again, has 5 to 6 turnovers, Jeff. All kinds of problems on offense, but the defense is so good, they get the shutout. So it'll be interesting to see if Homestead can clean up the offense and get that offense going. And we've never seen that at Homestead. We usually see Homestead's way ahead with offense, but how about Carroll? Carroll rolls along too. And how big is that Carroll-Northside game going to be next week? And maybe Carroll's getting Northside, Jeff, at the right time.
Joe, it's going to be a real big game there. We talked about Northside, and are they going to be able to withstand these programs that have depth upon depth upon depth? When you're talking about Dwenger, Homestead, Concordia, and Snyder, the Big Four. And it's not so much the one-on-one matchups. It's the fact that they're back-to-back-to-back. Northside opened up with Snyder. Now they took on Dwenger. Dwenger looks, to me, to be the most physical team in the SAC. almost that whole defensive front seven looks like Devin Tipman. Looks like a bunch of Devin Tipmans running around there. And you know Devin has been doing it for 2 years now. He's a senior. He's been starting ever since his sophomore year. So next week we got Concordia at Snyder. I hate to say it, but the edge is going to go to the Cadets in that one. Snyder's just going to have to find an identity. Northside at Carroll. The advantage is going to Carroll in that one. These are early predictions. Northrop at Wayne. We're going with the Bruins to start 3-0. We'll have to really go back in the history books to find out the last time Northrop was 3-0. Remember, they had a sectional championship team. I believe it was like in 2002 when Brent Hopper was quarterbacking over there at Northrop way back in the day.
Yeah, Matt Stinson was the coach, and if you remember, in 1999.
Ben Rogers.
That's how old I am.
Yeah.
I did that semi-state championship game when they lost to Penn, but you're right. Northrop, late 90s, early 2000, Northrop had some dominant teams.
Southside at Bishop, Dwenger to win that one. Homestead at Lures, Homestead to win that game as well. So did you say that Homestead-Concordia game was a final?
It's a final. It was, last report I had, it's a final. It was a shutout, 7-0, and Homestead had another 5 turnovers. But that Homestead defense, I'm telling you, that Homestead defense is awesome. If they can figure out the quarterback position for Homestead, they could be a dangerous team too, Jeff. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how Northside responds and see how Northside deals with Carroll. Right now, Carroll and Dwenger look like the dominant teams. But I think if Homestead can fix that quarterback position, Jeff, Homestead's going to come out and do some damage.
Yeah, Homestead's got Ormsby in at quarterback, so getting his legs underneath them. Obviously this year playing without Luke Goody, who you like to compare to Chris Ditto. It's funny how we were talking about that. Ditto was at IU playing when Trent Green was there. Goody related to Trent Green. It's funny how
how it all goes together. Yeah. And Ditto could plant that back leg and could throw a great ball. And I mean, I understand Goody made the choice, and congratulations to Luke on that scholarship to Illinois. But I'm going to be selfish. I really wanted to watch him play again this year because I think it would have been a 2-man race maybe for Mr. Football between Deuce and Luke Goody. And think of Homestead, and I probably shouldn't say this, but think of Homestead with the young kids coming up and being that dominant on defense if they did have Luke Goody. But, God bless Luke Goody. He's been a phenomenal basketball player. He's committed to basketball, and congratulations on that scholarship to play Big Ten basketball for Illinois. So Homestead's trying to figure out the quarterback position because you got to think, Ormsby didn't get the snaps. He's a defensive end, so, it hurts Homestead because they really didn't have anybody else getting those snaps. But the good news for Homestead is that defense is much ahead of where they're supposed to be. I know they got blown up last week, but who plays a high school football game without your first string and second string linebackers? Now tonight you see what that Homestead defense can do.
Over there at Concordia, I really love that defense. James Rusher, the sophomore linebacker, is just unbelievable for him, and only a sophomore. His brother is also on the team. They got 9 seniors on that defense. I really like Concordia going into Spooler Stadium and taking one away from the Panthers. But we'll see. We haven't seen what happened in that Snyder game. They do have Tyrese Brown as a junior running back. I really like Tyrese Brown. They got players all over the place on defense. When you talk about TT Tavarius Jones.
Oh, TT's awesome. TT's
Isaiah Maxwell.
Yeah, TT's a big-time D1 kid, too. But what's interesting with Snyder, and I never thought I would say this, I think Snyder's got some problems with leadership and stuff inside their program because there was some issues last year with the program, and let's hope they get it cleaned up because they've been the program in this area, Snyder or Dwenger, and Coach Tipman's had so much success. How about Coach Isaacs before that? But you just have to wonder, what's going on. And besides the big tackle Moore, Snyder was undersized, Jeff, besides Moore. Add Moore in that offensive line. Snyder went 243. You take Moore away, and Snyder wasn't that big. So you have to wonder. This conference is so tough. Here comes Carroll. Carroll continues to get better. Homestead, obviously, is reloaded on defense. And Dwenger is Bishop Dwenger in Northside. So it's going to be a long season. And, you may have a conference champion with a loss, or a couple losses. We'll see. Dwenger looks pretty good. That was my pick early on, Jeff, because I like the fact that they have, the linebackers and the ability to pass rush on defense. But I love it when you have a senior quarterback. I mean, you have a senior quarterback in Lydon who started for 3 years. I mean, he took you to the state championship as a sophomore. He threw for 2,000 yards last year. I mean, we love Deuce, and we think Deuce is the best passer in Indiana, but Lydon is another complete quarterback that gets a little bit overshadowed because of the greatness of Deuce Taylor and Jeffrey Becker.
Looks like Mike Fiacable has John Michael Fabini down there on the field.
Here I am with the man himself, John Michael Fabini, a.k.a. Little Khalil Mack. Fabini, talk to me about this Dwenger mindset going into this game against a very elusive Northside offense with Deuce Taylor back there at quarterback.
Yeah, we knew what they were about. We knew they had threats all over the field. They like to throw the ball a lot, and we highly respected them. Deuce was a great player, but we just came with the mentality to be physical, fast off the ball, pressure him, and we just gave our all effort.
Very impressive effort this second half to hold them, withstand that Northside comeback here late in the fourth quarter. Great game, buddy.
Hey, Mike, can you ask him one more question?
Yes.
Say this is Joe Walburn. I played with his daddy down at Cincinnati.
We got Joe Walburn.
His daddy was a phenomenal right tackle. How does he end up playing defensive end?
He wants to know, your dad was a big old nice right tackle. He wants to know how you ended up playing defensive end.
I mean, I guess I got my mom's genes.
Hey, great minds think alike, because I said that earlier in the broadcast.
Hey, tell him congratulations. He was awesome off the edge tonight.
Yeah, congratulations. You were awesome off the edge.
Yeah, it's all about the moms, that's for sure. We got two great ones over there in the Fabini house and, of course, at the Fiacable house. And we got Coach Garrett here. It looks like Devin Tipman up top, so maybe we can get two more, and we'll hold on for those last two for sure. Devin Tipman, what a game. I don't know about you, Joe, but I got to give – I don't know how you guys feel about him. I just feel like Devin Tipman sets the tone, and he did that early on for the Saints.
He's the heartbeat of Dwenger. Mm-hmm. Devin Tipman is the heartbeat of the team, and you're right, Jeff. He plays so hard.
Yeah, here I am with the man himself, number 25, Mr. Do-It-All on both sides of the ball for the Saints. Devin, walk me through. I asked John Michael Fabini what the whole mindset of the Dwenger defense going is. Because Northside, they have a dangerous offense. And what were the keys to kind of keeping Deuce Taylor under control throughout the game?
I mean, obviously we have the X's and O's part of it, but it comes down to energy and comes down to hitting.
How about this senior class? What's the mindset of this senior class? Because it looks like you guys are everyone's all in together. Everyone's bought into what Coach Garrett has planned, and kind of talk me through just how you guys just bond and become overall just a better team.
So, I mean, obviously we don't have any fans. You hear the seniors that don't get in, which is tough to do, especially senior year, obviously. We hear them super loud on the sidelines. In practice, we're running scout team. That just creates that bond, so when you trust one another in the game.
That's awesome. I love it. And there you have it from Mr. Do-It-All.
Yeah, Mike, just a quick question here. Big game. Devin's definitely a leader on that team. Early on, did he feel like he needed to set the tone for the Saints?
Yeah, so being a leader, a senior captain not only for the Saints, did you feel like you had to set that tone early on in the game? Just because it was kind of going back and forth. I thought it was going to be an offensive shootout, but there in the first half it kind of turned into a little defensive battle.
No, you for sure, being a senior, I mean, obviously we want to set the tone. Someone has to, and I kind of take – everyone on that defense takes responsibility, but being a senior, it just gives you extra energy, and it gets you more hype, just stuff like that. You want to go out, and you want to be the one to set the tone.
Exactly. No regrets. You got to leave everything on the line senior year. So there you have it, Mr. Do-It-All, number 25, Big Devin Tipman.
Absolutely. He's an outstanding player.
He's a winner. He's a winner of what he is. He's a Tipman, and Tipmans are winners, and he's a winner. And you're right, Jeff. You nailed it. He brought the energy and the leadership, and he's just a winner, and all the kids look up to him.
Yep. So looks like Mike's waiting for one more Brendan Lydon. I know the team's getting ready to get on the bus. I'll tell you what, when I played for the Saints, it was right after the game. You just ran on the bus, but Coach Garrett understands that things change, and these guys are getting some pub, and rightfully so. They're great players. So take it away, Mike. You got the starting QB1 for the Saints.
Yeah, here I am with star QB Brendan Lydon, lucky number 13. Brendan, walk me through the game plan. You guys converted a lot of big third downs, and that looked like it kind of sucked the life out of the Northside defense. Tell me what the mindset they were going in on those third and longs.
Well, you see, we started off slow. Our offense wasn't going, and right when that 2-minute drill hit and we started driving, we got in our rhythm, I knew that was game. We settled down, we calmed down, and we were just like, guys, we got this.
Hey, Mike. Hey, Mike, tell Brendan Lydon that Joe Walburn up here with Summit City Sports, I just want to congratulate him on the play before the half. That was a phenomenal athletic play to have a guy wrapped around his waist and to be able to make that throw to Sioka. I thought that was huge, and that's what gave them the touchdown and the lead before the half.
Yeah, that play you had before the half with all those guys wrapped around your lower body, you stayed tall, stayed strong, and you made that throw to Rocco Sioka, and that's what not only me but the guys up in the box, we thought that was a difference maker and just keeping that momentum in the second half. How'd you walk me through? What kind of workout plan are you on to keep that strength rolling?
I don't know. I do what my coaches tell me to do, and they said you make plays and make them when it breaks down, and that's what I do. I create something out of nothing.
I love it. Well, that's the mindset of lucky number 13, star QB Brendan Lydon. We'll get him there one day. He's not like me yet, but he's getting there. He's got to keep working. But great game from Brendan Lydon.
Yeah,
you have it.
Yeah, he's trying to be like Mike. So that's going to do it here from Chambers Field. We'll let Coach Garrett take a breather there. Mike, great job down there getting us those interviews. We really appreciate it. Joe, any last thoughts on this great performance by the Saints?
I thought it was a great performance. I thought the coaching, the game plan was awesome. They brought the pressure, and I thought Brendan Lydon stepped up and made the throws when they need to. So a big win for Bishop Dwenger and really a lot of momentum as they continue on the conference.
Absolutely. Well, on behalf of Mike Fiacable down on the sideline, we had Pat Reith on camera, Joe Walburn doing the commentary. My name's Jeff Mahoney. What a great week of football, week number 2. Thank you to everyone that helped put on the games this Friday. We absolutely love them, and we're certainly super excited for next week's matchup, the Summit City Sports Game of the Week, Northside at Carroll. The Chargers 2-0, big victory over Snyder, taking on these Northside legends that have been absolutely fantastic and so much fun to watch. So, folks, make sure to tune in here on Summit City Sports and have a wonderful rest of the weekend.
We have to do this. A bit of a hill.
His mother said, if you're coming to school, you got to bring your sister because they have to go and work in the fields. So this kid carries his 1-year-old sister everywhere. A lot of those kids don't eat in the morning. A lot of those kids, the only place they do eat is at that school.
I thought going up that mountain, Mary's meals can reach everywhere that there's a hungry child.
You see what happens after a simple meal? It just came to life.
Love reaches everywhere.
Parkview Sports Medicine's integrated sports medicine team is built to serve the needs of all athletes in all sports. Our team's only goal is to improve athletes in every facet. PSM offers performance training to help athletes get better on the field, dedicated athletic rehabilitation and physical therapy to help them get better off of it, certified athletic trainers in our PSM schools providing daily support to our athletes, and a specialized orthopedic walk-in clinic when injury strikes. Call 260-266-4007 to speak to our care navigators or visit ParkviewSportsMedicine.com to learn more about what we can do to improve athletes at all levels. Parkview Sports Medicine. Become more. Joint pain, sprains, strains, or a possible broken bone? Make the Parkview Ortho Express walk-in clinic your first stop when you have an orthopedic or sports injury. Call 260-266-4007 for more information.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our camera. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season, or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
I was once a Southside kid who was led on a journey by high school football. A journey that taught me discipline, toughness, and the skills that made me a success. As a businessman with a CPA license who owns his own firm, I still use the building blocks of high school sports in my everyday life. Someday sports will end no matter what level you reach, but you will be left with the skills to compete in the next game, the game of life.
Joint pain, sprains, strains, or a possible broken bone? Make the Parkview Ortho Express walk-in clinic your first stop when you have an orthopedic or sports injury. Parkview Ortho Express, located at the Sport One Parkview Fieldhouse, gives you access to quick care and orthopedic physicians when you need it most. Get x-rays, treatment, and referrals to Parkview Care, all in the convenience of a walk-in clinic. Call 260-266-4007 for more information.
Thank you for watching Summit City Sports. To help broaden our coverage, we're asking you to become a monthly sponsor to our Patreon account. We produce weekly highlights and live video broadcast. When the Homestead girls golf team won its first state title in program history, we were there. When Fort Wayne brought back 3 state titles in cross country, we were there. We believe in sharing positive stories and setting the standard for how high school sports should be covered. Join us and donate today.
The Kelly Automotive Group is simple, transparent, reliable. Simple. Our customer specialists make buying a car easy and fun. Transparent. Our price listed is the best price. No hassle, no gimmicks. Reliable. Buy with confidence and peace of mind. We work hard to ensure the best value however you shop. Come see us in Decatur at the 2733 Auto Mall and shop 7 brands in one location. The Kelly Automotive Group. Simple, transparent, reliable.
This is an invitation to join a movement propelled by people who care and members who have a share in the place they bank.
Good morning, Sam.
So when you have the chance to get your first home loan, you know an expert will guide you every step of the way. Or when it's time to buy your new car, you'll be treated like more than just a credit score.
Good news, ProFed can get you that payment.
This is an invitation to a place where simply belonging can help enrich your whole community. ProFed Credit Union. You're invited.